Williams on the tap pass. A stiff arm, turns the corner and goes in.
Number 35, those 2 points remain for the Chiefs. Came with the lead back to 40. Pocket launcher, through goes. Up the race with Wentz. In Corey Curtis is in.
When he was with the Dolphins back in 2015.
First and 10. Fake to Mixon. Here they come. Setting up the screen. Binds with the beat. Oh, and he got away. Look at Mixon. Oh, he's slippery into the secondary. Earl Thomas brings him down with a beautiful broken tackle run. A pickup of 23.
No Joe Mixon scores early.
Third down 11. And Dalton to the air. What a catch made by Tate. Wow.
Got great hands. Terrific concentration.
Shift gears here with some pretty good parts in place off their quarterback, Andy Dalton, with the second down and 10. And they go to Tate. What a catch. What a grab on the veteran. Brandon Carr with the stop.
He got 50 pounds on the guy.
Giovanni Bernard back there. First down and 10. And Dalton does a nice catch. Back shoulder throw. Caught by Tate. Works on Kennedy.
Feeding the
Lost the Chiefs, had the interception just moments ago earlier here. Third down and 5. Rodgers, same side. And this time, it's in the hands of Lazard. Incredible play. 35-yard touchdown.
That opened one for Gardner Minshew, and he has just burst right through. He's going to throw for it. Pulls it down, now throws, end zone, caught the touchdown. And the Saints put the first touchdown of the day on the board.
Beckham, he held on, and yes, they're saying that's a catch as he rolls out of bounds. A 41-yard reception and a great adjustment, getting to the ball and staying in bounds. Wilson in trouble here. Sideline catch. What a great effort by DK Metcalf. Russell completes. Inside there's Metcalf, the 20 now, and fighting his way. In trouble. And down he goes. Good coverage downfield and good pressure. And Robert Saleh inspired in a loss of 5 yards.
Cousins to the end zone. It is Diggs. His third touchdown today. 1-2. Possession of the football.
Now the 14th play of the drive. It's back to Bell. Bell into the middle of that line. And it's a touchdown. Fake to Bell. Go deep. Anderson's out there. This is going to go the distance. 92 yards. Darnold to Anderson.
Mahomes with a flag down. They'll take the deep shot. It is caught. Tyreek Hill. What a play. Touchdown. Welcome back, Tyreek Hill. Handoff. Carlos Hyde is in. Touchdown, Texans.
It's a throw. Winston throws, and it's picked off.
The first pass of the game is intercepted by James Bradbury.
Dumps it out of McCaffrey. He's got tons of room to run. Makes a move and gets in the end zone. The local media has been talking all about Christian McCaffrey, and the Brits just saw firsthand why.
As the Titans are 1 for 12 on third downs. Flacco stumbles. Lindsey bounces off the tackler, and now there goes Philip Lindsey. Inside the 30 and out of bounds at the 25-yard line. 30-yard pickup for number 30.
All right, good snap, good hold, and it is no good. Can you believe it? Bryant knew it the second it left his foot.
And we do have a quarterback change as Ryan Tannehill is coming into the game. He's kneeled down twice this year, yet to throw a pass in a Titans uniform acquired in a trade with Miami in March. What do you think of the decision to pull Mariota, James?
I think it was time. I think the rest of the team is kind of wondering what's going on with Marcus today. Maybe it's just not his day. Let Ryan come in, see if he can get something going on offense.
Mariota 7 of 8.
All right, now third down and goal. That's Isabella in motion. He's wide open, and Murray didn't see it. He gives it to Edmonds, who will find the end zone and a touchdown.
Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? What's happening? Welcome back, fantasy players, hustlers, and grinders. Week 6 is in the books, and we're coming down the pipe with some more fun facts and fantasy stats. Your favorite two American Ninja Warriors are in the building. Nobles and the Pinhead are live here, and we are
serving it up hot.
Yes, we are. As always, I'm your host, Reggie Noble,
a.k.a. Very Well Spoken,
a.k.a. Sir Camelot.
and we are live here in the heart of America City, Cape Vegas. With me, as always, is my man who needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. He's the pride of the Piedmont, a two-time 4th of July Park pickup game invitation champion. His crossover is wicked as his a.k.a. that's Sir to you millennials.
a.k.a. Viva Las Vegas.
Hey.
Welcome, Pinhead. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Looking forward to it.
All right, man. Let's make it happen. And checking the facts and providing the stats is the guy who gives me an ulcer. He is solely the reason that my ibuprofen budget has tripled in the last 10 weeks. His love for the Patriots is relentless, but he's still a good guy. And the only reason I F with him is because he was in the Army. Let's make some noise for Stat G, a.k.a. Q-Ball.
A.k.a. Sneaky Fast.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Stat? How you doing today, bro?
Doing all right.
Good, man. Good. You got a pizza coming for us, don't you? Extra pork.
Oh, extra.
Well, man, I appreciate you fellas making it out, man. We got what I think is going to be our best show ever, man, today, man. We're going to cover a couple crazy news stories from around the globe. We'll talk a little bit about Jacksonville trading Ramsey. Cam Newton is blowing up social media with quarterback controversy, which is crazy. I live to tell you so every week. JayP is going to join us for Blurred Lines. He's going to reveal our picks from last week. And week 7 studs and duds are coming to you this week, and they're just maybe a dark cloud sighting.
It's potential.
Potential. All right, so let's begin today's show with crazy news. So a Danish team breaks her own Guinness record with a massive tea bag collection. That's right. She has 1,237 tea bag covers. When I saw this headline, this is.
You were looking for something else.
I was like, I want to meet this chick. That's pretty much it, man. Yeah, she just broke her own tea bag collection record.
Well, wouldn't she every time she gets a new one?
Amen. Yeah.
Each and every time she would break the record, right?
Anytime she gets a new one, that's
Yeah.
I was thinking about different tea bags.
Well, when I first saw the story, I was like, man, I can't wait to talk about this. This is going to be awesome. And then I started reading, and I was like, oh.
That's sad. That's like I bought a book about, I think it was called Tiger Woods' 18 Favorite Holes, and, I got it and started reading it. It was about golf. God almighty.
No Waffle House mystery.
No, it was just golf. Like, come on.
Well, let's make our way up to Massachusetts, man. A New Jersey man broke the Guinness World Book record when he unrevealed a Ouija board measuring 3,168 square feet. Let's see, the Talking Board Historical Society, which is in Salem, that was the home of the infamous witch trials in 1600, said that he used 99 sheets of plywood, 20 gallons of wood stain and paint, and it took him over a year. I didn't find much interesting about this story, but it just made me think of Pinhead. And I was thinking, man, maybe we should travel up top and see if that helps you out with your dark cloud. Maybe we can tune it in.
Yeah, I don't want to summon Godzilla, though. I mean, what are you trying to summon on a thing like that?
Well, ironically, it has been dubbed Ouijazilla.
Oh, well, that's ironic.
Yeah.
Well, those people wasted their time, didn't they? They could hang out with those people that built that Noah's Ark recreation in Kentucky. The world needed that, didn't we? Everybody was just clamoring, like, please, please. Somebody was telling me that they went there not long ago, and that among the things on this ark are 2 dinosaurs. Now, that's a curveball, isn't it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that Noah would have had dinosaurs on there.
Well, especially, not to dive into the Bible here, but
no,
I don't think that lines up with time.
No, the timeline's off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no alibi there.
What kind of dinosaurs?
I know. I wonder that too, man. If they were like raptors or something that would have just slaughtered everything else on the ark. Just what a mistake that was. We should have left the raptors just afloat, you know.
No, man. But this Ouija board, man, it does have the same design as the original board. It came to light in 1917. And then, who was it? Parker Brothers. They made it famous in 1967.
Right.
So this board, it has the little slider.
That thing, the pointer.
Right. It weighs 400 pounds.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. I've always been skeptical of Ouija boards. In fact, more than fun, all they really make me do is distrust the other person that's touching the damn thing with me. Like, surely you're moving it, you know, because I'm not. But I'll tell you this, I wouldn't distrust you. If you and I went there and laid our fingers on it and the damn thing started to move around and spell stuff, I think it would be... that would be beyond all doubt.
I mean, at 400 pounds, if we just laid our fingers on it and start sliding,
yeah,
I'm going to get the hell up out of there.
Well, I'm going to have somebody else because I want to see what it says. Yeah, what are you trying to tell me here, 400-pound pointer?
I don't know if you watch many horror movies, but the black guy dies first, so I got to go.
I don't watch all that many, but I do know that.
They're the first to...
If we summon up some shit, dude, I'm out.
Right. Well, I think LL Cool J lived through one. He was like the greatest.
That was the shark movie, though, right?
Yeah.
But it's weird.
In too deep.
It's weird. It's weird you say that you die first because you're damn sure the first to run. The white people are like, oh, let's go check this shit out.
Yeah, the white people make the dumbest decisions, you know.
That's a fact, man. I have never, ever been in a crowd where people are like, you know, kind of mysteriously looking at something and just like, I'm going to walk over there and check that shit out too. My ass is going inside.
Yeah, see, I have. I actually have done that.
That is not an instinct.
What kind of weird shit's going on over here? And I just walk over there.
Yeah.
I get it
the other way.
I get it honestly.
That's how you catch a stray, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, what you got for us, Pinhead, man?
I just got a little quick story, man. I just read this from last week. It's in Florida. Again, I always like to report on things in Florida.
No doubt.
They are always great. But this Florida man was arrested for, he stole an alligator out of the swamp. You can't possess them. That's one thing. That's what he was arrested for. But he videotaped himself. This is 27-year-old Timothy Kepke and 22-year-old Noah Osborne. They were charged with unlawfully taking an alligator, but the reason they took it, they got it drunk. One guy coaxed the alligator into biting his arm. And then while the alligator was on his arm wiggling, the other guy poured beer down his throat. and so that's it. That's the end of the story. They got arrested. But I thought that was enough to mention. You know, I mean,
he coaxed.
Hey, man.
The alligator
Look,
bite
let's
his
go
arm.
steal
I don't think
an
it took
alligator.
much coaxing.
I think alligator
he was
will
willing. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, the guy like put his arm out there. It wasn't like he latched on there, on his own accord. The guy was like, "Do this, we're going to get you drunk." You know. I don't know. I might bite a guy's arm if he's going to get me drunk.
I don't know. I might shake a guy's hand. Hey, man, they just while you was telling that story, Patrick Mahomes just left the game.
My homie.
Yeah, he was down for a minute. I didn't see what happened, but it looked serious as they were all around him. But he walked off on his own power.
Well, he's not been right lately, anyway.
He has an ankle injury.
Yeah, this looked like he was holding his head at one point.
He's only got one of those, and they are important.
Very, very, man. And you know, did you know concussions are up 44% this year?
See, I did not know that.
And so, I mean, this leads me back to AB and his helmet choice.
His 10-year-old helmet.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah, I get it, man.
He hadn't had a concussion this year.
Well, yeah, no, he hasn't.
All right, man. Well, hey, that's it for our news today, man. Real quick, man, let's hit on the subject of old Jalen Ramsey finally getting his way up out of Jacksonville. Penn, how do you see this?
Well, he used his leverage and he got it done. I think it was a good move for the Rams. You're not going to get a guy like that very often. I know there were several players on the Eagles team really, really hot criticizing the front office for not making that move. And those two teams, I think, if you're in the front office of those two teams, you probably have a similar mindset. Your mindset is we're going to try to win now. And so I think it makes sense that he would go to one of those two. But But no, I like it. He's a shutdown player. All reports is since he's been there, he gets along with everybody and is groovy.
I don't think that there was ever any issue with him and his teammates. His teammates seem to love him. Look, here it is.
Yeah, Aqib Talib is out.
Oh,
too.
yeah, it's his ankle. It's his ankle.
They just put him on IR. And Clay Matthews.
I didn't realize Matt Moore was the backup there. You know, I met Matt Moore. We do a men's golf trip every March. I met him down there,
You
man.
and Matt Moore do a men's golf trip every March?
I met Matt Moore at a men's golf trip.
I was going to say.
It's like 2 years ago. But anyway, I'm sorry there, Stat, man. I just kind of finally saw what happened there. You said who was on the – Talib is on the IR. But
Talib and Clay, I saw earlier this week, they put on IR, so they really needed Jalen.
Yeah, so why they let Peters go?
I don't know.
That, to me, seems like –
I'll call him and –
Well, I mean, I'm just talking out loud. It seemed kind of odd, and I mean, you definitely need that guy. I think
to me, he hasn't played well in the past couple of years.
Well, I think it has the defense as a whole hadn't played good this year, and I think by getting that depth back there, that protection that can help you over the top, that's going to make most corners a little bit better, and then it should help Aaron Donald down in the trenches because some of the schemes that they'll be able to run. So, I mean, I think this is a positive move for him, obviously, man. I mean, when you get better, it's always going to be positive. But I don't know if it was just enough. I mean, the Rams just don't look good.
Nope. They don't really look good offensively or defensively.
Not
it's definitely
at all.
not the team from last year.
No.
And I don't think you could go wrong with Jalen Ramsey. Like, I'm agreeing with you. I don't think it's a problem with him at all. It was him and management and that money situation. It's not like an A-B thing where it's an attitude. It's a me.
Yeah, no, it wasn't, man. It was he didn't like the defense that the Jags was running there, and him and the coach didn't get along. And I think that was just enough for him.
And they weren't trying to pay him what he was going to get. It was steep. They gave up 2 first-round draft picks for this guy.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that's why he didn't play this year. I don't think it had anything to do with money. I think it was just he was fed up, man. And nobody likes, there's certain destinations in the league, man, that you just don't want to be in. Jacksonville isn't really a hot spot, man.
Well,
you
really
say small market.
You say it's not about money, but he showed up to training camp in a money truck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's. I'm talking about. Well, I mean, he didn't hold out. He was playing the season. I mean, everything was fine until it wasn't. Week 2 comes out. He blows up with the coach because they weren't running man to man, and then that's when all the problems came. Had nothing to do with his contract negotiation. So, yes, the brother wanted to get paid, absolutely. And you guys know me, man. I'm all about getting that money, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'll never hate upon a player for trying to get paid because, I mean, in this game, you're one play away, one hit away, one game away from being your last. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we saw with Andrew Luck. The guy was still in his prime. He had, 6, 7, 8 more seasons? And he just couldn't take it anymore, based off his age alone. So you just don't know. Oh, Disley is out for the season.
Tight end down,
man. And I tell you what, man, that damn Seahawks team has impressed the hell out of me this year. Russell is looking great.
This doesn't help him, though.
No, this doesn't. I think this does help Metcalf, though. He looked pretty good, man. He's a big figure, fast guy, strong guy. He obviously would be playing tight end, but he fits that possession-type role. He looked good last week once he came out. That's your guy, though, right, DK? Aren't you a big DK guy?
Yeah, I mean, he's impressive. He's one of those guys I think you look at and you're like, yikes,
Yeah, just huge, man, massive man. So I don't know how. I don't think that's. I think that's going to help lock it out tremendously. He's been balling out of control. And I was looking at Carson, who I'm not a huge fan of, but hell, he's the number 10 running back.
Yeah, no, he's had a productive year.
Yep. Chiefs just scored defensive touchdown. Well, let's make our way down here to the dirty, man, where social media is killing it right now, talking about a quarterback controversy that doesn't exist outside of Charlotte. So I heard Deion Sanders speak earlier, and I have a clip
Can we start with the good from London? Kyle Allen, 4-0 as a Panthers starter. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, they got a bye week. quickly, when they come back against San Francisco, is Cam under center if healthy?
No, dog. No. If I'm the head coach, if I'm management, Cam, I'm healthy. I'm good. Hey, man, chill. We good. We got this. Like, I love me some Cam Newton, but, I mean, this is the business, man. This kid is 4-0 as a starter. I believe in Cam Newton's last 8 games, I believe they were 0-8. Yes. This kid, they're scoring 11 more points. Just everything statistically is in their favor now. And they're really playing really well. I would not sabotage that. Not saying you're sabotaging it with Cam, but I would not risk it. That's the word I was trying to garnish. I would not risk that dealing with Cam right now. There's no way in the world. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
When I asked the question, you said, "Nah, dog." So I've reached dog status.
Nah, dog.
I've reached dog status.
Hey, you my man. Come on, Rose, we go back, man.
All right, there, boys. I just wanted to play that, man. I love prime time, man, but I think right now he's talking outside of his ass, man. I talked to your pops, Pinhead, Sunday. He came up to the Taft, man. We had about 45 people show up at like 9:30, man. It was a great crowd, man.
I heard it was fun.
Oh, man, dude, I got wasted, man. I was in bed by like 10.
It's funny.
At 6, rather.
My fault. It's funny that I didn't know about that video that you just played, but it's funny based off of the name that I used tonight for you, and then you had that clip. We didn't correlate that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man, about this controversy. I just think it's just people spouting off on Facebook and stuff, man. There's a controversy that doesn't exist anywhere but Charlotte, but you know what else exists in Charlotte's racism, and you're going to have, anytime it's a white guy replacing a black guy, you're going to have these dudes applaud the hell out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and just
Absolutely.
that's it. And also, not just that, but the backup quarterback's always the most popular guy on the team.
Always.
But I agree with you. I think if Cam's healthy, you put him back in.
I don't. There is not a quarterback controversy because he should not come back as long as this guy keeps winning. Not to mention 4-0, 0 interceptions, and he's in small company in that area.
So he hadn't beat anybody. I mean, and listen, hold on before you speak. I want him to beat everybody. Look, you beat the teams you're supposed to beat, right? But outside of Houston, and actually when we played Houston, they didn't have a winning record. But again, I don't want to take anything away from the kid. He hadn't thrown
really can't.
He hadn't thrown any interceptions, but he has turned the ball over 7 times. So he's only throwing 65%. That's a stat that you love. Cam, his
under 60.
Cam. You talking about career, but we talking about the last 8 games that he was in this offense. We go back
where
to
he was 0-8.
We can go back to the first 8 of last year when he was well on way to be when he was in MVP conversations. When he did throw over 1,700 yards, had 16 touchdowns, had 300 yards rushing, and was throwing over 70%. That's when he was healthy. That's what we're looking at. You know what I mean? So, I just think it's kind of silly, man, that this thing, like I keep saying, and it bugs the hell out of me. And, Pinhead brought up a good point, man. We talk about color in the game. When the Panthers drafted McCaffrey, no one wanted to say the inevitable that he was a white running back. Instead, we heard, he's not big enough. He played in the Pac-12. They don't play any defense out there. I don't think he's an every down back. He doesn't have the top end speed. He'd be a better receiver.
He's sneaky fast.
He's sneaky fast. Nobody wanted to give him his props because the way he looked like. And I think that's kind of what we're kind of dealing with here in reverse. No matter how you look at it, we got one of the best running backs in the game right now, tearing it up. Doesn't look like what the running back normally looks like. And that's kind of how I see this whole thing playing out with Cam, It's like people don't like the way he look. So then they find little tidbits to pick on him, like his last 8 games when he was playing injured. Which in this game, most guys do play injured, so.
So if he comes back and loses the next 4.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't give him 4.
No.
I think that's too long a leash. I don't give him 4 straight losses before I go back to Allen. No way.
No, I agree with that. No, if he comes back and he's stinking, our team's not playing, our team's not vibing. I mean, our chemistry right now is great. If we start, you can see those things changing. in a quarter, in a half. I mean, you saw what Miami did against Washington when they pulled Rosen out, which I think that I don't understand why that kid is even playing. You saw what Fitz did. I mean, he was able to bring that team back. I mean, the team responded well to him. Same thing with Tannehill up in Tennessee. So, you know,
Fitz is off and on. He's Jekyll and Hyde.
He's not off on having the guys behind him.
No.
Everywhere he's been, man, guys play for him.
I actually watched that NFL show on Showtime where you can hear the coaches and the players talking to each other.
Inside the NFL?
Yes. And I saw when they put Fitz in, the coach, Brian Flores, looked over at, I'm not sure who he looked at, but he's like, I want to put Fitz in. I've been thinking about it. We need somebody to just sling it. We just need to start slinging it right now, and that's your man. Him and Jameis Winston are slingers. So he put him in, and he brought him back. Mm-hmm. But that was a terrible 2-point conversion call.
I had the kid just dropped it on purpose.
Good call. He wasn't going to make it. It was a good call to go for it. I don't deny that. It was a terrible. It was a terrible play call.
No, I just don't understand what the idea there was going to go on out and get Josh.
It kills me, and just like going back to that Panthers game that they lost on that last play. Why in the world, if you're on the 2-yard line or in, why are you running east and west? I don't
understand that
at all.
I am still bothered by that. Cam's not 100% great. Put Will Greer in. Put Kyle Allen in. Let's put someone in who can go straight up.
If Cam's not a percentage, whatever percentage enough you have to be able to do that play, then you shouldn't be in the game at all.
Agreed. And before you hike the ball, you send them out. you split them out. So I don't know who they thought that would fool. It didn't fool. I mean, we obviously know 22 is getting the ball. He's taking it 3 yards behind where he needs to get, which is stupid.
Yeah, you send a guy out and you're like, look at me, look at me, look at me. And then you give the ball to him.
Right.
Like, well, they're already looking at you.
Right.
We made sure of that.
Right. I mean, you would think that they wouldn't run to the side of their quarterback to make the quarterback block. So we kind of almost know where he's going.
Not a good play.
It wasn't a good play, man. It was.
Well, that's yesterday's news.
It is, man, and I'm still sour about it, man.
I can't tell.
I'm still a little sour about it, man. But hey, while I'm doing that, man, let me bust over real quick, man. I don't mean to sound like a dick, but
yeah, well, I don't want to sound like a dickhole, but I told you so.
I did, man. I keep trying to tell you boys, man, that this kid Alden Tate, man, the young stud up in Cincinnati, is a beast. He had 12 targets last week. They weren't great targets, but he had 12. He snatched 5 of them, put up about 12 fantasy points. Man, this kid should be in your lineup this week and every week moving forward because the Bengals will be throwing from behind. Hey, you know, and I think even when AJ Green comes back, man, it opens it up even more for Tate. You know, because you're gonna have to guard the best player on the field. I don't know if AJ Green is gonna be that anymore, but until he shows us he's not, you got to be thinking that. And I think that just opens it up for Tate. Next thing, man, while we're talking about my beloved Cats, every week you guys have picked against my boys. Every week.
No, that's not true.
Oh, no?
Nope.
Okay, you hated against them. Anyway, I keep trying to tell you that the Panthers are for real.
They're for real with Allen.
We're for real without that comment. It doesn't matter, man. We are going to the playoffs, and I'd be scared to see this team, and our defense is looking great. And I'm calling it right here. I'm changing my championship team, man, because the Eagles have let me down.
Going with the Saints?
Negative.
Oh.
I'm going with the Cats, baby.
Oh.
We're going to the ship.
Why don't you have that noise? That wow. That
I thought it was coming. I was waiting for it.
I got it. We'll slide it in, man, when ain't nobody watching on the back tap, on the edited version. Yeah, buddy. So that's it, man. That's it. All I got for you guys, man. I don't have any sneaky picks coming down the line this week, man. I think we are at that point of no return. If you haven't filled your roster out by now, it's time for you either fire sale or make a huge trade. Because all the studs have been discovered. I don't think that we're going to see anybody new that we hadn't seen. We're going into week 7, so Yeah, man, I don't have any more for you, but I'm going to keep telling you every week, man.
I just saw something that happened October 8th. It's just rumors. They think AJ could be a good fit for the Pats, and they may try to trade for him.
Oh, my God. Who the hell cares?
I was trying to figure out when he was coming back from injury.
So, new drinking game. Anytime you bring up the Pats, I'm taking a shot of whiskey and slugging my beer. And about...
You'll be lit shortly.
Oh, yeah, in about 3 games after we get to 3 games, man. Well, man, let's slide over here, man. We're going to turn it over to you. And let's talk about last week's picks, buddy.
Let's. 2 weeks in a row, my man Jay has won the weekly predictions.
Pinhead.
I'll start with you. 9-5.
Damn. Good week, buddy.
Nobles 6-8. And I went 8-6. I have taken the lead by a game. Nobles is 1 behind. Pinhead is 1 behind him.
Yeah, I had some letdowns last week, man. I didn't feel good about it, man. I didn't feel good about it, man. I didn't feel good about it. The Jags let me down. God, did they let me down, man.
Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Eagles. Falcons.
Yeah, the Eagles. The
Titans.
The Eagles have let me down. The Titans have let me down.
We all lost the Cowboys and the Chargers.
Yeah.
Something told me they weren't going to beat the Jets in Jersey. But
well, you know, I think I screwed up by trusting Dallas.
Yeah, me too.
You know,
me too.
And
they beat them up.
Well, dude, we talked about it, man. When they've played any defense, they hadn't looked good. You know, I mean, you look at those first 3 games, there was literally no defense being played on the other side of the ball. I mean, from the other team, right?
Right.
And then who they play week 4 that pounded them? New Orleans.
The Saints. I picked that game.
And then they followed that up with Green Bay.
Yep.
And then, you know, they ran into a buzzsaw with the Jets, and the Jets looked good against them.
Sam Darnold came back.
Good against them.
He looked ready. He was ready.
Sam Darnold is considerably better than the other guys that they had playing quarterback.
Absolutely.
When
they you know, the day that they said Sam was coming back,
cut your boy.
they cut Luke Falk immediately.
Hey, but you know what, man? I wouldn't even care because you got to pay me. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay me, baby. You know what I mean? I'll take my check and go home. I'm going to play for y'all stinking ass anyway. But last week, the guy that Penn said he would least want to be in this world was at fault. He got sacked, 9 times?
9.
He got crushed.
Yeah, so, I mean, shit, he didn't want to be there, man, you know?
They called him, and he was like, drinks on me tonight. We're celebrating. They just cut me.
Yeah, man. I mean, so... Yeah, man. I'd be happy if I was him, man. Hell,
he's probably doing okay.
I think he's doing all right.
He even in a backup role, a couple $100,000 is way more than I'm making.
I wonder what he made this year, man. I bet it was a pretty penny, man. So, well, let's start off this week's picks, man. We'll start with this game here.
I'm gonna take the Chiefs
because this game. I think we discussed this before we started the show, and it's all clear we're all taking the Chiefs, man, and we're not going to beat this game down here. Obviously, because it's being played by the time you all hear it.
Really a sad look on Mahomes' face as he was kind of limping off the field, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was one of those like, oh, I felt something.
And, I mean, I didn't even know Matt Moore was still in the league, man. This guy, man, at one point, man, I thought he was going to be
he will be the end of their season if he's their starting quarterback.
Yeah, at one point, though, when he was a Panther, man, he actually had a couple good games, and he fooled me.
Do you think that had anything to do with him being a Panther?
No, he actually won 2 games. I mean, I was like, oh, this guy's good.
Looked pretty good.
He looked pretty good,
he did.
you know.
I remember that.
And then he looked like crap, you know. And then we had Clausen behind him, and he looked good on the sideline. I mean, he just looked like, if you look up quarterback, Jimmy Clausen would, like, pop up. You know, he had, like, the chin, the beautiful gold blonde hair, you know what I mean? Just the cheekbones are all great. And, you know, he just looked like a good quarterback, but he sucked.
That was the extent of it.
He sucked, man. So
you was asking about Luke, his pay. He made he's made $719,000. He made $179,647 for the Jets this year, and $390 last year with the Dolphins, and then $148
Damn, so he made almost two. You said he made how much this year with the Jets? 170?
179.
Damn, he made 180 and he played, what, 2 games? 2 or 3 games?
Yeah, something like that.
See, that's
not shabby.
Dude, you heard it here first. I am committed to playing 2 games in the NFL somewhere next year.
Every year. Just 2 a year. I'm good.
You both will be putting traction after that, man.
Hey,
you just could not move at all. Just in a gurney. Stop it.
No, we're not. Even if I don't get to play, I'm gonna be okay with that.
If you're paralyzed?
No. I mean, like if he never says, "Hey, Green, you're in."
Oh yeah, I would definitely do that.
I mean, so what I figure I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait to after training camp. Right, and what I'm gonna do is I don't know, man. I'm gonna doctor up some video, maybe send it to Rivera or something of me like doing something crazy. I don't know, long snapping it from like a mile and a half. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. I figure I can get you guys to help me Photoshop some shit, and
for sure.
You know, man. And all I gotta do is have just one good day, like live tape.
Photoshop. I bring all my shit to the show every week written in a notebook.
All right, well, you can direct.
Everybody has laptops, and I have like a notebook. That is Photoshop. Shit.
Yeah, well, you can direct, man.
Just hold the camera steady.
Okay,
right.
I do have visions.
Yeah.
So how about the Broncos are the only team in the NFL to have 0 points scored in the final 2 minutes of the first half?
Oh.
Wow, obscure.
That's crazy. All right, man.
All right, man. So we're all on them. What we got?
We're on the
next?
Chiefs. All right, everybody with the Chiefs. All right. The L.A. Rams at Atlanta. L.A. is on a 3-game losing streak.
And again, I will say it again. Atlanta is devoid of talent on defense. They have nothing. The offense has been able to put it together a little bit in recent weeks and score some points, but you give up more points. I think you just absolutely got to like the Rams to stop that losing streak. If they can't, then we got to all start thinking about the Rams differently. But this week it will be the telltale sign.
Oh yeah,
I really think. Look for Goff and company to really get going. But you also got to think that Todd Gurley, we're going to find out something about him at some point too.
I hope so, man.
I hope so too, but it just I got a bad feeling.
Something ain't right.
Nobles and I both are Todd Gurley owners on our primary fantasy teams and big supporters and fans, but I just got a stinking hunch, man. I got there's something in my pit. Yeah, something ain't right. He's not the guy I used to watch.
Nah, and I mean, what's funny is, man, there's just nothing. Like, there's no information.
I know, and I've waited this long to really say anything about it because I know a lot of people in my fantasy league listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, let me just beat down my player's value real quick like a smart GM would, but, it doesn't matter. I think it's clear to anybody that pays attention. They know Todd Gurley and what he was and what he brought to the table, and this currently isn't it.
Nah, man, I'm going to agree with you, Penn. I like the Rams in this game with no doubt about it. It's 54 and a half points is the over-under. I like the over in this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game because neither team has showed me that they can play defense. And it's in Atlanta, so I do expect Julio and really to, do something. I mean, I can see both of those guys snatching about 14 points apiece. I like Freeman to get 80 in a score. But then on the other side of the ball, man, I think if Gurley is a go, this week right here is going to be the week, as you just put it, man. That's going to tell us everything. If he doesn't have the big day that I think he's going to have, I think we've seen that from him. But I do see him getting about 21 points, man. Goff is going to he's going to be better than he has been in the last few weeks, again, because he's playing nobody this week. But no, seriously, but I don't trust any receiver out there outside of Cooper Kupp on the Rams side of the ball. And let's see.
Jalen, is he
is
playing?
set to play. He
Cool.
is set to play.
That'll help him with Julio. That's a positive. That is a positive.
Yeah. It should.
They're the better football team. They should win.
So I mean,
they're not at home, but they should win.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they should win. The Rams.
Should.
I mean, again, the Falcons aren't good. So.
All right, so we're all on that same one.
We are. And like you said, they do put up points. They put up, I believe it was 32 on Houston in Houston, but they gave up 53. You know, devoid
of talent. Completely.
All righty, let's go to the next game, fellas. And that would be Miami at Buffalo.
All right, man. I gotta say, start your Bills. You got Bills, start them.
You got Bills, get them paid.
They should be the top defense this week against just a ridiculously bad Miami offense. They average just a pithily 8.4 points a game this season, and that's after they just blew it up last week for 16. You know, they're still
blew it up last week.
Calm down.
Still averaging 8.4 measly points a game. If they're as bad a team as there is, I'm going with the Bills.
I agree, man. I like the Bills. I think they're a good team. I think every Bill is playable here. I like Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen to throw up like a 32-point game this week, man. So if you're playing like daily fantasy and you're looking for a cheap quarterback to buy, I mean, why not?
He's a really good daily fantasy player. I would say you would start looking at him after about the top 5 this week.
Yeah.
There's certain guys that you just, all pretty much play.
Right. I mean, well, you don't have to spend anything on them.
I say that, but in my league, I got Deshaun Watson, and I didn't play him last week. So
Not to mention their defense. Miami's going to – I mean, they might blank Miami. And, they played really well against the Pats, too.
That brings up
something.
Yeah, that brings up my next point. Buffalo's D will be the D of the week. The Bills are a 17-point favorite. And usually, man, you see those big lines, man. It kind of scares you, but the Dolphins are so bad, man. I like Frank Gore in this game.
I like Buffalo to cover.
Yeah, I mean, no, I really do.
In a big
legitimately,
way.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah,
absolutely, man.
I will be in.
Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas.
All right, that's where I'll be. So I'm going to play that game on Sunday. I'm going up probably to the Mirage and play that game. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it's not a mirage and it's actually there.
I tell you what, man, we went to Vegas last year, speaking of the Mirage, and that's where we went to watch some of our games. What game did we? Oh, it was Game 5 of the NBA Finals. We went to watch, it was the Golden State. Cleveland, thank you. Anyway, JayP and I was there, man, and I don't know.
2 years ago?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, it seemed like it was last year. Yeah, it was 2 years ago now.
Well, they played a lot of years in a row, too.
Yeah. So we went to the Mirage, man, and we're there, man. We had great seats. We got there early enough, and I won a ton of prop bets, man. And JayP, he was off this week, man. I mean, everything he touched, he lost, dude. So I was telling you this, man. So when you're out there, if you're in the Mirage, maybe give him a call and ask him what he would do, and then go the other way. Because that building did not do him any favors. We walked away from the sports book, and we had to wait on some of the prop bets. So it's like 15 minutes after the game before they'll pay out. So we ended up stopping at a roulette table that was literally right outside of the sports book, man. And dude, I hit, 15 out of 20 rolls. And he sat there and played against me. I was just winning. And I was pulling back $100 chips like every time. And he just kept going opposite way of me, and he just kept losing and losing and losing. Then we stopped and we got a beer. I put $20 in a Keno machine. I hit $450.
I love Keno.
And I watched him put about $300 in it. So again, what I tell you is, when you're in that building, call him for advice and go the other way, buddy.
Got it.
I just wanted to help you out there, man. But yeah, man. So I think Bills here, Bills there. What you thinking over there, Stat?
Bills across the board.
You're not gonna go for the upset?
Can't. No, I cannot.
So you just can't
not that one. If they were in Miami, I would contemplate it, but they're not. Next on the docket, Jacksonville at Cincinnati.
The Jags. I like the Jags in this game again because the Bengals aren't good. 43.5 points is the over-under. I like the under in this game. Despite how bad this game appears, there should be some fantasy production to be had out there.
I think so.
I like Minshew in this game in a pretty good way, man. I can see him getting 21 points.
You think we get the Magic back?
Man.
I think we get the Magic back on track
this week. I think so. This would be a good team to do it. It's one of the worst defenses outside of Miami.
You know who should look good?
Fournette.
Yeah. How about the league's most underpaid wideout?
Oh, go DJ.
Go
That's my DJ. Yeah, I think he's a 20-plus player this week, man. I like Fournette to have 125 on the ground, maybe 35, 40 receiving, and I like to see him in the end zone. Again, I like Tate because he had 11 targets last week, so I think that production will remain the same for him. And again, because they'll be playing from behind. And the only other Bengal that you could consider might be Mixon, but I wouldn't expect more than 9 points out of him.
I don't see a big week out of him either, man.
Yeah.
I think you'll see Minshew and Fournette and Chark all continue to roll. The Bengals are just really bad on defense, and the offense just sputters and stalls in the red zone. They don't really put up very many points. Maybe if A.J. Green comes back this week, maybe that helps. I don't know. But you still got to like the Jags either way. You can't bet on a thing like that. So if I'm got to make a pick, man, I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I think you look at Cincinnati and Miami in Week 15. That's a big game. That could be one. And, that would be a hard one. That's going to be a hard one to pick because everybody's going to try in that game. If you're a professional athlete.
Sure. You don't want to go.
You'd have to cut me up into shreds to make me not try to win that game.
Right. You don't want to go blank.
No, I don't want to be the 0-16 team who also lost to a team who was 1-15.
Right.
Another one of the. You both could be the two worst teams in the history of the league. You could argue that at that point. So no, I would want to avoid that. That'll be interesting. We'll think about that in Week 15 because by then most of your fantasy leagues are over, and so we're going to make a big deal out of that.
What do you think Tua is thinking right now?
Oh, my God. He's thinking he has another year, right?
He does have another year.
That's what I'm thinking. If I'm him, I'm thinking.
There's no guarantee. They could like Jalen Hurts better or someone else.
Sure. Okay, then let me ask you that.
Know.
What do you think Hurts?
It's same damn thing, but
we
can do that all day.
No, Jalen Hurts is thinking, yeah, I'll go there.
Sure.
Look what he's been through. Yeah, I know, but Tua, no. If I'm Tua, I think about shit. I might come back.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just to eliminate that as a possibility.
Well, Andrew Luck did it.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Yeah.
The only thing is you'd have to come out the same year as Lawrence if you stay.
Yeah, but I mean.
But yeah, so what?
You go one or two.
Right, and is there going to be a team next season that says, or 2 seasons from now, that's as bad as Miami is now? Probably not.
No.
They are historically really bad. They are not at all good, man.
Yeah, I mean they've got a ton of picks, man, but they the thing that concerns me with Miami and having all of these draft picks and whatnot is
is what they've done with their draft picks in the past.
That's what I'm trying to get at, man.
Exactly.
I mean, you every year annually you're drafting in the top 10.
They ain't had no shortage of draft picks, man.
Right, and every round you're in the top 10. It seems like, and you've not done anything with it since. I mean, and then so I'm giving you more
Dan Marino hangover.
Right, so I mean, giving you more opportunities to screw up is what I'm thinking by you getting.
Dude, I buy that, man. I'm going Jacksonville.
What you got on that stat?
Jacksonville all day.
All right.
Minnesota at Detroit.
All right, man.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I kind of think this is a close call, man. But I really do think that Minnesota is slightly better on both sides of the ball. I really do. And slightly. I chose that word carefully. I don't think it's by a big margin anyway. I think Cousins now finding Diggs and Thielen and adding that back, and the defense doing their usual tough stuff that they do. I'm going Vikings on the road in this one. I'm beginning to hate going against the Lions because they just burn my ass every week, or they have several, not every week, but several weeks. Mm-hmm. But I do. When I look at it and break those teams down, especially on paper, and even on film last week with the way that Cousins got the wideouts involved, but I think they're a little bit better on both sides of the ball. Okay. So I'm making that pick.
Okay, I disagree, man. Speaking of how close that game is, the Lions are a 1-point favorite at home. So I mean, you typically get 3 points from being home. So it's a close. Vegas sees it, the handicappers see it really close. So, but I like the Lions here, man. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Over/under is 43.5. I don't like that. I think the Lions are due. They've been getting hosed a lot, especially last week. I mean, everybody saw that bull crap that happened last week.
That was garbage.
Yeah. we can go on and on about that. I say don't be fooled by Kirk Cousins' play last week, man. He's going to have to show me a little bit of consistency for as a fantasy and a quarterback to manage my team, man. I just need to see him do it a little bit more. He's got the talent around him, so it shouldn't be hard to do. It shouldn't have taken.
I don't think he plays any sketchier than Stafford does. Stafford's willing to throw the thing underhanded about 30 yards down the field. Somebody.
Well,
do the submariner on them,
Yeah, no doubt, man.
I like the guys. I like both of them.
They're
fun to watch.
I just don't want to. I have to see another week, man. And he's going up against a good team this week. I like the Lions' defense. I like their offense. I do think if you play Diggs or Thielen, you're getting the same player, the same production. I don't see a lot out of those guys. Maybe 12 points. The guy that I like the most in this game, though, is Cook. He's having a solid season, man. I think he'll have a solid day, maybe 19, 20 points, man. Then you're going to start your usual suspects in this game. Don't get cute. The kid not Hockett. What's the tight end's name, man? The young boy.
Hockenson.
Thank you, sir.
Out of Iowa.
I don't know if it's a good week to play him. He did have a red zone target last week, and he dropped it. They are trying to get him involved, but I don't think this matchup works well for him. But when it's all said and done, I'm going with the Lions at home.
I'm also going with the Lions at home. I think it'll be a really good game, though.
All right, man. The lone wolf over there.
The lone wolf has actually won the week 3 times. We've had 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Oakland at Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're still in third. Of 3 of 3.
Hey, man, so Oakland and the Packers, huh? I like the Packers in this game, man. They're a touchdown, 6.5 point favorite here. They are at home. They're looking better and better every week. I think Aaron Rodgers is just Aaron Rodgers. He's the guy that we've all known and come to like. I can see him having a solid day, 22 points out there. The Green Bay Packers receivers are all questionable, though. So I think the only guy that you want to start with confidence if they play would be Adams here. Aaron Jones, a guy that I haven't liked all week. He finds his way in the end zone a lot. He's a top 6 running back. He's number 4 running back, matter of fact. But we saw him have a poor week last week, and then we saw Jamal Williams show up, man. But if you're thinking about starting either one of those guys, you got to stay with Jones just because of consistency. Even when he doesn't have big gainage on yardage, he finds his way in the end zone. And outside of that bull crap he pulled against Dallas where he had those 4 touchdowns, I wouldn't expect anything crazy like that. I like Jacobs a lot in this game, though, too, man. Coming off a bye, he ran wild over the Bears defense, which I think is a little bit better than the Packers defense. I think we all can agree. So I can see him dropping about 16 points, maybe $1.25. Maybe
the Packers D's better against the pass.
Sure,
they get after the quarterback pretty good. But I think if you have a road grading type O-line, I'm agreeing with you there.
Yeah, and Waller is a top 10 tight end, but I wouldn't expect anything more than 6 points out of him, man. But at the end of the day, man, I'm gonna align myself with the boys in gold and green, man.
I agree with you, Nobles. I got to, man. I think the Raiders, if the playoffs started today, they'd be in. Which is kind of wild. And all the shit we've talked about, how the games past Gruden up and all this.
Yeah.
If the playoffs started today, which of course they don't, they would be in. They're just a surprising 3-2. But you got to believe that Rodgers and Aaron Jones and company would just be too much for them. I like Green Bay. Their defense, like I said, has been getting after the quarterback, so I think you can watch them harass Derek Carr into a couple turnovers at least. I'm definitely going Green Bay, but it also brings me.
It's time for Pinhead's Dark Cloud of the Week.
Yes, the dark cloud. The darkest cloud there is. So the Raiders are moving to Las Vegas next year, right? And that leads me to this week's dark cloud. It's settled squarely over the El Cortez Hotel and Casino. That's right. The oldest casino continually open in all of Las Vegas. The El Cortez been serving downtown since Bugsy Siegel opened the place.
Bugsy.
Ah, yes. They will be paid a visit this week by the world-renowned blackjack ace, the Pinhead.
Ow.
The Pinhead will be rolling in. He will walk in proudly, and they will know him by his beard. He will sit down confidently, and he will commence to stacking chips. And indeed, a tough weekend will be had for the El Cortez when this shark shows up, and they're all worried about it. As the Pinhead descends, and it is mayhem. It's looting at a mythical pace. It's sort of like it's not like South Central back in the day. It's more like Robin Hood, looting and pillaging all around. It's going to be awful for the El Cortez. Rarely do casinos have bad days, but this one's about to have a bad day. And so there you have it. It's bad business when the Pinhead's in town, and remember that. Also, the Pinhead will be seeing Willie Nelson at the Venetian on Sunday night.
Oh, nice,
yes,
man.
All right, yeah. But that was the Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud settling over the El Cortez.
So we heading to Vegas this week, man, huh? And you go. All right, man. Vegas, baby, Vegas. I love it, man. So the old Cortez, man, you can go there for the burger and beer special, and then beat them up on the blackjack table, huh?
Yeah, man, that's my plan. That's my favorite casino in all of Las Vegas. It's you and I have talked several times. I don't care if I ever see the Strip in Las Vegas again ever. It is a soulless, gutless, dirty, filthy place. It's okay at night when you can't see anything but the lights.
That's right.
But other than that, it's garbage. And but downtown, to me, I've always found a little culture downtown. There's you got a little bit of Wild West flavor, and you got a little bit of Chicago gangster history and stuff like that. This stuff actually went down. Nothing ever went down on the Strip like that. Like, I mean,
right.
The Strip could be anywhere in the world. You could pick it up and put it in Dubai or France or wherever, and it's still the same. It's basically
Cherokee.
Yeah, it's basically a row of Planet Hollywoods.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
But downtown, the casinos have some funk to them.
They really do.
And it's a better party to me. It's this. The Strip is the club. Downtown is the dive bar.
That's right.
I'm down for that downtown, man.
I'm with you, man. No, I'm with you, man. I agree, man. Vegas is the ugliest place in the world when the lights are off.
It's gross.
I mean, when the lights are off, it's horrible looking, man. Yeah, man. So, man, we wish you nothing but the best, man. But while we got a moment here, let's bring in JayP here for a little blurred line. Yo, what's going on, JayP? How you doing today, brother?
Hey, what's happening, brother? It's good to talk to you again, man. Happy to be on the show again with you.
Happy to have you back, my man. How was your week?
Oh, it was good. It was good. So started off pretty well. The Patriots covered for me on Thursday night. Had a nice little start to the week, and that got me going. And then, of course, our boys showed out in London, and that just set the week off right. And it ended up being a pretty good week. I did have a miss later in the day with Washington, but you can never tell with Washington. You had a perfect opportunity to beat the crap out of Miami and win by 1 point. But
Fitz magic happens, huh?
Yeah, Fitz magic always can. I'm just glad he's not in our division anymore. But Cincinnati covered for us, and we killed that one. That was a nice little cover, and took a little bit of a dive later in the day. Man, who would have? I didn't see the 49ers being this good. I didn't the Rams laying an egg like that. But boy, maybe the Niners have something over there. So I took a little hit on that, but came back nice on the Sunday night game with Pittsburgh. I just knew that San Diego was not going to blow them out. I think the line was 7 when it opened. But that was a nice little hit to finish the week. So not a bad week overall.
Nice, man. You had a pretty good run in college this week too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I had a great day on Saturday. I took South Carolina in the points, which ended up, I probably should have took them on the money line. That would have been big. Took the under in the Texas-Oklahoma game. Just hits all across the board. Had a really good day on Saturday, which set me up nice for Sunday. I put a little pretty penny on Carolina first thing in the morning, and that's always a good way to start the day.
Hell yeah.
I mean, other than the fact having to watch the game on my phone at 9:30 in the morning because I can't find the game anywhere, but
They got to fix that.
Should have came up to the tavern, man. We had about 40, 45 people up there.
Really? So
man, it was a great time, man.
Brunch went off well.
Yeah, I don't even remember eating. But
do you remember drinking?
I do remember that, man. I think I had my first. What I started the day off with. I think I went with an Irish coffee. And then followed it up with a Bloody Mary. We had a Bloody Mary bar, man. There was chicken and waffles, corn dogs, grilled cheese, any type of pickled pepper and olive that you could want. Oh, man, it was the dopest Bloody Mary bar I've ever seen, man. And yeah, man, but hell of a game, though.
Anytime you can start your day off with some alcohol and a corn dog, boy, it just gets better and better from there.
Welcome to the South, baby.
But the boys looked really good. I'm interested to see what happens when Cam starts practicing and what decision they make. We've got a big game in 2 weeks against San Francisco, actually. To kind of, I think that'll be a good measuring stick to prove where we're at. But
absolutely,
boy, that defense, 5 interceptions, 7 sacks. I mean, you couldn't ask for more out of them. That was that was just a defensive show right there.
Right. Well, I've never trusted Jameis at all, so I don't want to pat ourselves on the back too much here because I didn't think Tampa was a good team coming into the season. I don't think they're a good team now that they've got some work under their belt. But kudos to the Cats, man. You beat the teams that are on your schedule, right?
Exactly. You play who's in front of you.
That's right, man. That's right. So, what you got going on this week, man? You got any hot numbers for us?
Ooh, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Whenever you start off with woof, that makes me nervous. It makes me want to guard my wallet, man.
now there were a lot of interesting lines last week, and worked out in our favor. So I'm hoping the same thing happens this week. One that sticks out to me, an early game on Sunday, Arizona and the Giants. Arizona is +3. It opened at 3. It stayed at 3 so far. Arizona's trending in a good direction. Now, they played Atlanta last week, who's just a garbage football team. But they're finally starting to click on offense. Kyler Murray's getting his feet under him. He looked incredibly comfortable in the pocket against Atlanta. For a rookie quarterback, that's important. You know, it's good for his psyche to be able to be comfortable in the pocket, make the throws that he wants to throw. And he looked really good in that. And I like the way Arizona's trending. They're not going to make the playoffs or anything. But against this Giants team who's trending the other way, I think Daniel Jones has kind of regressed a little bit, which is expected. You know, teams get a little tape on you and can kind of game plan for you. I still like his career trajectory, but as far as at how it's going right now, he's come down a little bit. And I like Arizona to cover this. I actually like Arizona to maybe win this game by a field goal. So I think you're getting some good value, getting +3. This is another one of those games where West Coast teams is going to the East Coast, and people think, oh, Arizona's going to lay an egg. I kind of like Arizona to go into New York. They don't have a great home field advantage right now. So I like Arizona actually to win that game. So I might do a little bit on the spread and a little bit on the money line. So hopefully get Sunday started off right in one of those early games.
Gotcha, man. I don't know, man. That's one of those games I wouldn't touch, man. I don't know who's going to show up. I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game, though. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely be in favor of going on the over. Where's my notes at? What's the over on there?
Right now we're at 50.5, so it's a pretty high number. And when it gets that high, I do like the over. Neither one of them really plays a lick of defense. You see, I mean, Arizona did give up 33, I think, to Atlanta. 33.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. I could definitely see the over cashing on that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. Well, what else you got for us, G?
Another one that sticks out. So the Colts are laying 1 against Houston. A lot of people are kind of surprised that Houston, that the Colts are favored in this game. I'm not. Indy opened at 2.5, and it's come down to 1. And I think that's strictly on people's perception that Houston just beat Kansas City, and they think, you know, ESPN loves to push that narrative that Houston is really good.
which I think they're okay, but they're not that great. They beat up on some bad defenses the last couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta again, they put up 50-something against Atlanta, and then Kansas City last week, who I'm a little surprised they're in a little bit of a funk. But people tend to forget the Colts are coming off a bye week, and they beat Kansas City in their last game. So, I mean, I think these two teams are very evenly matched, but the Colts are at home for this one, which I really like. The public is all over Houston. The public has bet this line down from 2.5 to 1, and I'm happy to take those extra points. So I like the Colts to win a close one against Houston at home.
Nice. Over under on that game is 47. I think it'd be well, man. One thing that hasn't impressed me about the Texans, man, is their defense.
Right.
You know, they're
definitely feeling the loss of Jadeveon Clowney, I think.
Yeah. And ain't no shot against Watt, man. But I mean, it takes more than one man to lead a defense, and I just don't think he has any help with the secondary, man. And they're not a great defensive team, man. And I think they've just had that reputation, and people kind of hold on to it. We're still early in the football year, so people, still look at last year's stats to kind of give them some type of feel on this defense. I just don't think they got a good defensive ball club, man.
They really don't. They've given up, even in that game that they played Atlanta, they gave up 32 points. Yeah, they scored 53, but they gave up 32. So they've been prone to give up some points. 24 last week against the Chiefs. So I could see that game going under. The only thing that scares me is Indy's defense plays pretty well. So I think that number might be right on, which is a little scary. Like we say, the boys in Vegas know what they're doing. So
they do.
That may not be one as far as the over under I'd like to touch, but only giving up 19 points to the Chiefs. That defense is known to show up every now and then. Is basically where I'm going. So,
gotcha.
Don't have a feel on that over under, but I do like the Colts to win.
Okay, gotcha. Who else
And
you like
let's
this
see.
week?
All right, so Detroit is at home against Minnesota, and man, I feel like we wouldn't be doing our jobs if we didn't talk about the officiating Monday night against Green Bay. I mean, so I'm at home watching the game with my wife, and my wife even points out, she's like, he's not touching his face. He's not touching his face. He's touching his collar. And I was like, babe, you are exactly right. Like, this is, I mean, I don't know what's going on with this. So the funny thing is, I did have Detroit +4 in that game, and Green Bay ran it up the middle with 30 seconds to go, and oh boy, just sat down on the one, and I could not have been happier, because that would have blown my spread all to hell. And so, while I feel bad for Detroit, I did cover the spread. So I was so happy to see him sit his ass down instead of running that in for a touchdown, which I think was the smart move in any event. But
absolutely.
Anyway, so Detroit's playing Minnesota this week. Minnesota, this game opened at a pick, and it's gone all the way to Minnesota -1.5. So I like Detroit getting a 1.5 here. I'm interested to see if this line goes up anymore. I'm worried that it won't, but if this spread gets to 3, I think I'm going to pound it hard. I really think Detroit's going to have something to prove. They should be 5-0 on this year, if not bad, for one bad quarter against Arizona and bad officiating against Green Bay. This team would be 4-1, 5-0. I really like Detroit. I think they've got a good team. I think Patricia's got them going in the right direction. Minnesota's coming off a win against Philly, which I think the public's looking at and saying, hey, they're back. They got it together. But you know what? Detroit beat Philly too a couple weeks ago. So I think it's a good division matchup of really evenly matched teams. But yeah, I'm going to watch this line and see if I can get another point or two. But if not, I'm still going to be on Detroit plus a couple of points.
Okay. Yeah. What do you feel about Buffalo, Miami? Buffalo's like a 17-point
17. So I think if it falls the right way, I think if Buffalo scores a defensive touchdown, they're going to cover that spread. So then you're only really counting on the offense to give you a couple of scores, maybe 10 points.
So I think Buffalo's defense they're just going to swarm them. Miami. So when Miami played New England, I think New England shut them out, or it was there. They didn't allow an offensive touchdown, I think was the case in that game. And I think Buffalo's defense is very similar, and it's going to just shut Miami down. Miami, it's just such a bad football team, and I think it shows how bad Washington is that they almost beat them last week. I mean, how do you not beat Miami by more than a point? But I really like Buffalo. Obviously, to win the game, I think the spread's going to be really close if I had to pick, and I think I might put a little bit on it, but I would definitely take Buffalo, and I'd give a look at that under too.
Yeah, the under is at 40.5.
Yeah.
Or under 40.5. Yeah, 17 points. God Almighty, it's crazy that we're seeing these type of lines in the NFL
every week against Miami.
Every week against Miami. And Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to do something for your confidence, man. When you look at the USA Today or whatever media source you're looking at, if you're on the team and you're like, damn, we're a 17-point dog again. Get me the hell up out of here, man.
And that's what several of the players have said.
Yeah.
and they've obliged. So I don't blame them. I was talking to somebody this week. I wouldn't be surprised to see so the Rams trade for Jalen Ramsey really kind of came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to have to pay him, and they've already paid Aaron Donald, and they've already paid Jared Goff, Todd Gurley. I wouldn't be surprised to see something along the lines of maybe Todd Gurley getting traded to Miami in like a salary dump so that they can keep paying these guys. And Miami, they don't care. They're just, they can just take on some salary and maybe get a pick out of it. Kind of like what the Browns did a couple years ago with Brock Osweiler. Maybe, take a pick to take a player. I know Gurley wouldn't be too happy about it, but they're going to have to clear up some money to pay these guys at some point.
Yeah, they're going to have to. I didn't really understand the Ramsey thing for them anyway. I think that move doesn't really help them this year. I know they think that they're all in coming off the Super Bowl run last year, but I don't think L.A. is as good of a team as they were last year, even though they're the same team. I just think we have another year of tape on the young head coach there, and that offense isn't really clicking. The offensive line in protecting the quarterback. They just don't seem like a really good team, like same team. And then obviously you had one of the best running backs last year throw up 17 touchdowns, and we're not even seeing them play, Right. So, it's a mess out there, man. It doesn't take long in the NFL for that thing to turn around, man. Not at all. What was really crazy to me, though, is what Miami is doing to this poor kid, Josh Rosen. I mean, what the hell did they expect from this guy? How do you bench this guy? I mean, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you get rid of everybody. And then you're like, oh, you're not meeting our expectations. We're tanking, but you're not meeting our expectations.
I mean, unless you really think that this guy's your quarterback of the future and you don't want to expose him to getting injured this season, but what kind of, that's just a fucked up strategy in and of itself. So I have no idea what nobody knows what they're doing, but yeah, to put him in, all right, well, let's see what he's got. Let's give him a season and maybe he can prove something to us, and then to bench him 3-4 games later after their closest win of the year.
Yeah.
The back Fitzmagic came back in and let them down, but that game was not out of hand when they pulled Rosen. So
no,
I don't know. Nobody knows what they're doing. I feel bad for Tua. I really do.
Oh man, yeah. Well, he's got another year of eligibility, and I mean,
he could strong arm him. He could strong arm him and say, if Miami picks me, I'm not coming out. I think Andrew Luck did that with the Panthers several years ago. Went back to Stanford for his senior year when the Panthers wanted to take him, but it worked out for us.
No, it definitely worked out for us, and bless Luck. I wish him nothing but the best, but I hated him for that.
Oh yeah.
Man, I rooted hard against him, and I'm not a hater, but I hated that guy.
But
yeah, if you're going to hate on our team, we're going to hate on you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. You got any good games on Saturday, man, that you're looking at?
I don't know. I think this Michigan-Penn State game will be interesting. Jim Harbaugh just does not do well against as an underdog. He doesn't do well on the road. He doesn't do well against top 10 opponents, and I think that's a recipe for. Now the spread I think is 9 though, which is the only thing that scares me. And he, as soon as I take Penn State, Harbaugh will come out with his signature win of the season. But that's one I'm kind of looking at on Saturday, and I hate to keep saying the same thing, but I like Appalachian State this weekend. They 17, I think, is the line that they're laying right now, and I like them after they basically played their toughest conference game last week against Louisiana Lafayette.
Gotcha.
And played very well, especially on defense. And actually the line's dropped down to about 15 now, but they're at home against Louisiana Monroe. I think this is kind of a get-right game for them. They had a more defensive game than they're used to last week in a tough conference game against a team that they played in the conference championship last year. And so I think this is more of a get-right game for them to come out and put up some points and kind of sling it all over the field. So I like ranked, baby. We're ranked. Always love to see my Mountaineers ranked, so that'll be good. Duke and Virginia, I think, should be another good game. To both of them 4-2. Both of them looking to kind of get that extra leg up in their conference. Virginia's favored by 3 at home, which means basically the odds makers see them as dead on even. But you know which way I'm gonna go on that. So.
Go Wahoos.
Yeah, sure.
Got you, man. Okay.
But again, just like we talked about it a couple weeks ago, Oklahoma, boy, they look good. I really like Oklahoma.
They do.
Hurts had a massive game against Texas, and I really like them. I think they've got a great shot once the playoffs start. I think we're still looking at Clemson, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ohio State, which I feel like is the same for every year, but I mean, somebody's got to step up and beat them. Maybe it's LSU. LSU's having a hell of a year.
LSU is a good-looking ball team, man. Yeah. That was a hell of a game Saturday against Florida State. I mean, Florida, not Florida State. But yeah, it was a hell of a ball game.
And what's interesting is the SEC, I mean, in essence, the SEC has 5 teams that control their own destiny for the playoffs. Right. Alabama, LSU, Florida, Auburn, and Georgia. Yeah, now Georgia took that loss, but I mean, with that schedule, you can beat top 10 teams every week, win your conference championship, and get in the playoff.
Yeah.
So I think any one of those teams could do it. Now, I think it's really going to come down to Alabama and LSU, but you never know. Whoever wins that game, could lose in the conference championship, and that opens the door for the other one. So I think this, if one of those top 4 teams falters, I think we've got another 2-team SEC situation. But right now, it looks like those 4 teams, and I might take a little long shot on Oklahoma to win it all. I really like that team. Lincoln Riley is a hell of a young coach, and he's gonna be a problem for everybody for years to come.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you this question, man. He's probably gonna be in the league, man, in a couple of years, man. Lincoln Riley's gonna get
Dallas.
Yeah,
I think Dallas might be the only job that could lure him away. But
I mean, dude, you'd be a fool to take the Dallas job, man.
Absolutely.
God Almighty, it'd be a great organization to work for in theory, but the owner will just, he's not gonna give you reins to control that team, and it hadn't worked for anybody. That's why Parcells didn't do it,
Right.
But speaking about, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's amazing how the owner actually breaks down the game and the play calling and decision making in the post game interviews before the coach actually gets to the podium. So
yeah,
that tells you all you really need to know about how things are run down there, that would drive me absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be some destinations that might open up, man, that might be attractive,
Pittsburgh.
to Pittsburgh. Same thing in Washington. Washington isn't a place that you wanna go there, man, especially as a first year coach. Atlanta.
Steer as far away as you can from Washington. Atlanta could be opening up. That's true. And polar opposite. Apparently, from all I hear, Arthur Blank is an amazing owner. He's good to his staff, good to his players.
Yeah.
And I think that's if you want to go to Atlanta, that's fine. I just feel like he's that Southwest Southwest kind of guy. Either stay at Oklahoma or maybe he goes to Dallas. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, man, I wanted to ask you: do you ever touch any prop bets, man? Do you ever tinker with those things, man? Or?
I do in the especially in maybe the playoffs and especially the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Because you can get a lot more during the season. You can get prop bets, but it's a shorter list, and regular season you never really know. I mean, other than say McCaffrey over 100 yards or McCaffrey to score, but even prop bets like that, you're going to get really rough odds. You're going to lay $200 to win 100 or whatever it may be. So I don't touch a lot of prop bets other than maybe some season bets. I do, I'll take somebody to win the MVP before the year. I'll take a lot of season over/under totals, but
gotcha.
But I don't do a lot of prop bets during the year, but definitely during the Super Bowl, something little things, just to make the game more interesting. Say Julian Edelman over 44 yards receiving, or
Well, I'm gonna start looking at them, man, and the reason being is, man, it's crazy how they handicap these games and how close they generally are, man. And I've been having some issues here with my lineups. First off, I've lost 5 consecutive games. However, I've been scored on. The other 2 guys in my division have been scored on 200 points less than I have. So I mean, it's crazy, dude. I mean, people are blowing me up. I'm putting up good numbers, man. But hell, the guy I played last week threw up like a season high. The week before that, I played Kid. He had 3 guys drop 40 on me. Played a guy before that. His running backs had 72 points. Right, and he only beat me by 7. I mean, nobody else could have beat me. I think I threw up 121. He threw up 128 last week.
That is the absolute worst thing in fantasy when you lead the league in points against.
And that's where I'm at, man.
And
that's where
I feel like I always led the league in points against. But
God Almighty,
it's just something that's out of your control. You made all the right moves. You made all the right pickups. You scoured the waiver wire, and then his third string tight end, who he threw in because his other guy's on a bye, puts up 30 points. I mean, what are you going to do,
I mean, the guys that I'm looking at that are like 5-1, I look at their teams. I'm not hating, you know what I mean? Hey, we know it's a game of luck, but I look at their team and I'm like, well, what the fuck, man? Like, how are you 5-1? Like, I don't get it, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, man. But there they are, man. But I was saying that because I was looking at these prop bets, man, here. I was looking on a sportsbook here on Interlopes. You ever use that website?
I haven't, but I'll look into it.
Okay. So I've got Philip Lindsay here, man, and I was tinkering and I started him because, I hate Thursday night games, but I mean, Kansas City, Denver, generally a good game. You know what I mean?
It's funny you said that. I'm going to start Philip Lindsay in my league tonight because I really like him to have a big game against Kansas City tonight. Obviously, Kansas City's rush defense is horrible, but I'm definitely going to start Philip Lindsay in my league tonight, and I like him to have a really big game.
Well, the over/under for yards rushing for him is 91.5.
I like that.
So what I mean? And I'm sitting there thinking like, huh. Well, I mean, and then he could have some receiving there. Let's see if they have anything in receiving for him.
I do guarantee you, so if it's 91.5, he will finish with either 90 or 92 rushing yards tonight. Because, like you said, those boys know what they're doing. So it will be one or the other. Yeah.
Right. So.
But yeah, you can get some of these props. Like Philip Lindsay, like you said, you can to be the first touchdown scorer of the game. You get that at plus 550, which means you bet 100, you win 550. You get Tyreek Hill for plus 600. In a case like that, since the Chiefs really, if they win the toss, or let's say they get the ball first, they have a good chance to go down and score, because that first 15 scripted plays, they're usually on it, and they score a lot on the first drive. So like a Tyreek Hill at plus 600, or Damian Williams plus 650, LaShawn McCoy at plus 500. Those aren't bad bets, to take a flyer on and just hope that. Basically at that point you're hoping that Kansas City gets the ball first.
Yeah. So damn, I like that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna I have to go back to the drawing board here, man, because the strategy that we had coming into the season is definitely not working at 1-5, man. With the team that I have, man, I should be definitely in a playoff hunt. I don't think I'm going to make the playoffs. I've got to turn this thing around. I am favored to win out. If I go through week by week, I am favored to win out. So that means I'll probably win maybe 2 more games.
I would say that things like that tend to even themselves out.
Yeah.
It's just like in baseball, a guy who's a career 270 hitter comes out in the first half of the season and hits 320. There's a really good chance that he's going to hit a slump in the second half. I mean, it's just regression to the mean. And it always happens. People always want to fight that and say, no, he's really turned the corner. But just like with you, you're not going to – the chances of you giving up the most points in the league every week from here on out is very low. And so I'm rooting for you, buddy. I hope you can turn it around.
They've got me favored this week by like 20-something points. So, yeah, man, we might be able to turn this thing around, man.
Is there a website that I can bet on that? Because I'd like to get on that action. I'll lay the 27 points with you.
Oh man, check it out at double.
If any of our listeners can send me a link to the fantasy lines for the week.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great, man. We should do that, man.
And I swear I'm not a degenerate. I swear.
Man, bet on my team. That's what's up. All right, man. Well, Jay, I appreciate you, brother, man. About to wrap this thing up, man. You got any other little nuggets for us this week?
I think you actually touched on it. Buffalo's one of my leans this week. I like Tennessee to get right and beat the Chargers. Washington, San Francisco is an interesting game. That spreads at 9.5 or 10, depending on where you're at. That's a big revenge game for Kyle Shanahan. Washington did his dad dirty and him a few years back. I think he's got a little revenge on his mind. I wouldn't be surprised to see San Francisco whoop up on Washington.
That game's in Washington too, right?
That game's in Washington.
Yeah.
And excuse me. The spread on the Green Bay Oakland game is interesting. So it opened at Green Bay -7. Everybody sees Oakland with another big win, and that line is down to 5.5. And everybody also sees Green Bay, win by courtesy of the refs. But I'm not buying into Oakland yet. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. And I love that line has come down to 5.5. You're getting 2 key numbers there at 6 and 7. I like Green Bay in that game. It might be a smaller bet, but I do like Green Bay in that game.
Okay.
All right.
Cool deal, man. Well, as always, Brother Jay, we appreciate your time, man, and your knowledge and all of the things that you do. We talked briefly about our ACC review, so we've had that coming up in about another week and a half, I believe, man. So look forward to doing that with you. So,
oh, man, I can't wait. It is It's getting chilly outside. It is basketball season. Oh, I can't wait.
That's right, man. Bring on the cornbread and chili, baby. It's ACC time, man. My favorite time of the year, man. Well, awesome sauce, brother. Awesome sauce. Well, man, I hope you have a blessed day, brother, and good luck to you on your picks this week, man. And I can't remember what I tell you what I lost last week. The Houston game. I took on a parlay, and that's the one that lost it for me, man. But
against the Chiefs. Yeah.
Against the Chiefs, yeah. So I'm gonna bet with you again this week.
Yeah, Washington was the one that got me last week. I lost a really good parlay with Washington. But
yeah.
Say la vie, we'll get them back this week, buddy.
Absolutely, brother, man. Well, hey, man, have a good one, Jay. We'll talk to you soon.
Can't wait, brother.
All right, brother. Back, man. Thank you, JayP, for that.
Boy, he's always full of spunk, isn't he?
He's full of something. I don't know if I'm going to call it spunk.
He's a sassy little fella, isn't he?
Well, a little fella is correct, man. I think
we're in the same weight class, I think.
You know what, man? That should be a bet that we should make.
Are you going to try to start like a duel?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. Just BB guns, man, like we used to do when we were kids.
Well,
man.
the weight class doesn't matter then.
No.
I thought you were going to mean like me and JP to the death, or not to the death, but like till I knock him out or whatever.
Well, until you knock him out.
Yeah, or whatever. I don't know, man. He's a good bit younger than me. He probably doesn't smoke as much as I do.
Well, he's married, so that's had to take. I mean, you've been there. You know how that affects.
Has he been putting on weight?
Yeah,
well,
actually.
Maybe he's out of my weight class.
Man down. We had an accident here in the studio. Our mascot here, Miss Mo Randa. Yeah, she's fucking shit up, man. It goes over there, Mo. I can't reach it. Yeah. So, hey, man, well, let's move over to the next game, man. Stat, what we got?
Next game is Houston at Indianapolis.
I like the Colts, man. This is going to be another close one for our degenerate listeners. Over-under is 47. I like the under in this game, man. I will tell you guys that the Colts defense is real, and Watson has struggled against the best two defenses that he's played. When he played Carolina, he dropped 12 points fantasy-wise, and when he played Jacksonville, he dropped 12 points fantasy-wise. So I don't expect a huge day out of him. Maybe 16, maybe 17 points. Their
offensive line has gelled significantly since then.
In
a big way.
Well, we'll see, man. The jury's still out for me on Houston, man, of who they really are, man. I tell you who I really like in this game is Jacoby. I like him to drop like 25. I like Mac throwing up 24. And if you got to play a back in Houston, man, it's going to be Carlos Hyde this week. He should get you a solid 12 points, but don't expect anything better than that.
Right on, man. To me, this game basically is a toss-up. It's really close. I don't know what the spread is, but
it's one. They're 1 point.
Yeah, it's basically a toss-up. I mean, I'm going the Texans because of Deshaun Watson, and I believe that their offensive line, I think that they have the best left tackle in the game in Laramie Tunstall. I think that the rest of them have come together. They had never played together before, as we mentioned in some of our earlier shows, I think even preseason shows. But they've gotten a whole lot better at protecting him. He's gone 2 straight weeks without being sacked. That's a massive improvement. That is a massive deal. I think Watson's just got to be on the short list for the MVP. I think he's got to be. He's got to be right there. He's got to be ahead of Mahomes at this point. Mahomes put up another nothing tonight. I mean, albeit by injury, but nothing's count.
No doubt.
Both teams really good against the run. So I think you look for passing stats. And I think hopefully DeAndre Hopkins gets back in line. I know a lot of people drafted him in the first round, a little upset with him. But he is, of the underperforming wideouts that you drafted in the first round, maybe ODB, obviously AB, of all these guys, he's the one most likely to rebound. He's still getting over 9 targets a week. And so that's gonna happen. It's not lack of opportunity. It's Deshaun Watson is an equal opportunity passer. He passes to the open guy, and so this week I think Hopkins is back in. I do think I agree with you that it's a good statistical week for Indianapolis as well. I think there's going to be a few more points scored here than you do, but I'm going Houston. What do you say, Stat?
I'm going with the Texans as well. I think they have started gelling. They have looked much, much better. Even being on the road, I'm gonna roll with them.
Well, you speak of his last 2 games, man, and again, I don't, you know me, I'm not a hater, man. I mean, but he did play Atlanta, and he played Kansas City, 2 teams that aren't known for their defensive pressure on a quarterback.
I don't think Indy is either. They're
Indy's
much better against the run. Both teams are good against the run. Indy didn't put a whole lot of pressure on them.
If Watson is getting rid of the ball a little bit quicker, I think he has a better day than what I said. But anyway, we'll see.
But
we'll see. That's why they play the game.
you say that. Did you expect them to go on the road and beat Kansas City at the house?
Not at all. Not at all.
I really do think, man. I respect your opinion, Nobles, as always. I really do think we were right early on about that offensive line. Tunsil is a mountain of a man and can really move.
Mm-hmm.
He has really good hands, and they've got a lot of other talent too. I know they had a guard that had been there like a week when the season started. A starting guard, and so it's come together for them. I really like those guys, man.
Okay.
I like to watch that team. I think they're super fun to watch,
Okay. Well, we'll check it out, man. What you got next, Stat?
Arizona at the Giants.
Ooh, the G-Man. I like the Giants in this, man. They are a 3-point favor. The over-under is 50.5. That's because no defense will be played. I see y'all's boy Daniel Jones having a solid day, man. 350 plus like 3 touchdowns, man. I think this is a great great day to play him in some leagues that are deeper and in your daily fantasy. Barkley should return from what I can tell. Everything that I've read says that he will be there, and he's going to run wild, man. I mean, that kid is a phenom. I mean, after 10 days after that sprain, he was running full speed and cutting. Expect him to have 21, 22 points. Shepard practiced today, so I think that's going to help Jones out, and it's also going to help out Golden Tate, who looked good last week. So that offense is going to be gelling. This is where you're going to make your money at if you're an Ingram owner, because the Cards give up 17 points a game to tight ends. So Ingram booms this week.
Love Evan Ingram this week.
He booms this week.
He's my tight end, and I think he does it this week.
And man, I on the other side of the ball, man, there's 3 plays for me. Obviously, you're going to play DJ. But I like Murray this week for the 2nd week in a row. I told you last week that you should play him. You should play him again this week. I can see him having 28 fantasy points. And I like Fitz, man. I think the Hall of Famer is going to add to his stats, man. I expect maybe a 13, 14-point game for him.
Hey, man, I hear you, dude. I also like the Giants, especially since it seems that Barkley's going to play. You know, you got kind of 2 struggling defenses, so I think this will be a fantasy-friendly game on both sides. Barkley or even Duke's Daniel Jones, especially if you're in like dealing with bye weeks, and he could be a really good player. Same with Evan Ingram. I think Murray, David Johnson, and Arizona wideouts are good shots too. I like this game. Last week I started Kyler Murray instead of Deshaun Watson, and I was really worried after the 1:00 games that Watson had thrown up 30 points. I'm like, oh man, maybe I did. But Murray had 16 at halftime, and then as we're going in with about 5 minutes left, this is one of the more thrilling fantasy wins I've ever had. I was playing Mr. Cameron Miller. And it's always
Juicy.
Juicy Bruce. It's always good to beat Juicy Bruce.
It's always good. It's always good to beat him and not be beaten by him.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. You want
physically.
to avoid that. Oh, yeah.
Physically.
If he's a close talker and he likes to punch you when he talks. Hey, you know what I mean? Hey.
It's taken me 30 years to get him to finally stop slapping the shit out of me when he sees me.
He don't even mean to.
He don't mean it's all love.
Yeah.
It's all love.
But it's some shit love
He's a little fella, man. He's got the heaviest hands, man.
That's the kind of love I don't need.
Nah, I ain't into that.
Right, but anyway, that game came down. There was about 5 minutes left, and Kyler Murray was driving. I had Kyler Murray and David Johnson, and Mr. Cameron Miller had put up a number on me. At one point on CBS, I had a 12% chance to win. This was during the 1:00 games. I was down 52 points. Average score in my league, just to show you guys if you want to put it in the frame, average score is probably about 87, 88. But I was down 52 points, and I had 4 players left to play, and he had 3. But Murray was coming back, and it got to a point. I was working behind the bar at the Century Park Tavern, Turnersville's best, and I was my boss lady Dawn was sitting there, and I told her, I said, "This is it for me." There was 5 minutes left, and I had Kyler Murray. I was down 8, and I told her I need Kyler Murray to score, but not only that, I need him to throw it to David Johnson. Like just one score doesn't do it for me. And I'll be damned, he did. Johnson,
he did just that. Huh?
Oh yeah, I screamed like a maniac in the middle of the tower. Just yes, it was just fantastic. And David Johnson got the pass interference, but he held on anyway. That was great. So I like what Arizona's doing too. I think they're on to something good, but I don't think they're quite as far along as the Giants are. And I like the Giants at home. You know?
I agree, man.
Yeah, Duke's Daniel Jones has been fantastic.
Old Dookie.
I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going with the Cardinals on the road. We'll see how healthy those two individuals are.
Okay. All right, the Lone Wolf.
San Francisco at Washington.
Oh, boy, it's a lopsided monkey here, man. I say San Francisco looks great.
They really do.
I mean, they just
really
look
do.
great. You start all your 49ers.
Amen.
And you watch the game, and you watch Nick Bosa and his friends just bottle up the Redskins and just mash whoever the fuck they decide to put at quarterback. I mean, I love Adrian Peterson as a player, and I always have. But this is not the week. Just go with your Niners. Don't play any Redskins unless you got McLaurin.
That's it. Scary Terry, man. His ceiling is pretty high this week for me, man. I like the 49ers, no doubt, man. They are a 10-point favorite here. On the road, they're 10-point favor. Over under 41 points. I like the under only because the Redskins aren't going to score against this defense.
They're not.
I think, man, if you got the 49ers defense like I do, they're going to have a field day. I like Coleman a lot this week, man. I can see him having a 100-yard.
Gary Coleman.
Gary, little Gary, little fella.
Little Gary.
And look how he's carrying that ball.
Oh, boy, he's headed out there.
He's like a loaf of bread, man.
An idiot. Hey,
we're watching football, by the way, for our listeners. Look how he's holding his balls. It wasn't the Pinhead. We're actually watching football, and the guy's holding the ball.
It was the Pinhead.
I feel like maybe I'm in the red a little bit.
Your time is up.
Okay.
Oh, but like a snapping and a crackle? Yeah, but it's okay, man. We're not holding our balls. I promise. I've got my notes in my lap. I got a shot in my hand.
Hey, man. But I like the 49ers in that game. Like I said, I think, if you're scrambling, you have a bye, and you got Breida. Look at that guy streaking.
Well, I think again, we're not holding our balls, and we don't have guys streaking. There's people listening. They can't see this. This is inappropriate. This is I don't. What do people think? We don't want to be the most popular show among.
See what comes off next.
Right.
Well, at one point he was holding his balls, and then there was a guy streaking.
Have you heard the Nobles and Pinhead podcast? It's fucking erotic.
3 guys in a cup.
Oh God.
Yes.
Oh man, but
I digress. I'm going with the 49ers as well.
One thing I wanted to add was I wanted to talk a little bit about Jimmy G, man. If you're looking for a quarterback, I would tell you to look elsewhere, man. He hasn't been a great fantasy quarterback. He's been more of a game manager. His last starts, 13-29. That was week 2. 14-18-13. He's the 24th ranked quarterback, man, and I know guys that are trying to play him this week. I would encourage you not to do so.
He's playing much better football than he is fantasy football.
No doubt. Now, I'll give you credit for that. That's what I was saying. I mean, I mean, he's managing the game, and hell, with a defense and a run offense like they had, you don't need him to do anything.
Why would you?
What do you say? There's 3 things that can happen when you throw the ball?
Yeah, 2 of them are bad.
That's right. So. All right, buddy.
Next game.
We got the Chargers and the Titans.
He's excited about
what he said.
He's excited.
Yes, sir. That's really what I'm thinking about. The break didn't do me any trouble either. All right, and now here, I've got to say that I have no clue what to make of either one of these teams.
Yeah,
I don't have any clue. I'm gonna go with Rivers against Tannehill or Mariota or whoever Tennessee starts. They trot out Damn Garth Brooks out there. I don't know. I don't trust the Chargers after letting a third-string quarterback beat them last week. You know, but
I know.
But I trust the Titans even less, because it seems like a mess at quarterback. So I just believe you got to like a team that's led by Phillip Rivers over a team that's embroiled in a quarterback controversy. Even though they're not all that good anymore. They look, last year, if it weren't for the Chiefs being just miraculous, everybody would have been talking about the Chargers, and they had a really great season.
They did, man.
And this year they seem like the Chargers again.
Well, what's disappointing is how they have used Melvin Gordon, man. In the last 2 weeks back, he's had 20 carries, 49 yards, 7 catches, 37 receiving yards, and 0 touchdown celebrations. I understand that he was holding out, but running back, from my understanding, in this league, I mean, once you've done it in this league for 3 years as he has done it, I mean, you're not missing out by not getting hit in training camp or preseason. You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to come back in and fill your role. I mean, and Melvin Gordon, I don't know if you guys have seen this guy with his shirt off, man, but he's a specimen, man. I mean, I think the dude's like 3% body fat, man. He is a stud. So I wouldn't say that he's out of shape. I'm disappointed with how they're using him. But even with that said, I'm going to pick the Chargers to win.
It's game shape.
I'm going to pick the Chargers to win. I like Eckler as the back to play in this game out of all backs. I think he's going to have the best day of all running backs, including Mr. Henry.
Well, I don't know about that, man. Being at home and with a quarterback controversy, he was kind of the one Titan I kind of liked. I think, especially if you go with Tannehill, I don't think he shouldn't know as much of the offense as with the first team. And I think you'd lean on the running game a little more. I think that's kind of more of a toss-up.
I agree. I mean, I said the same thing last week about Connor. With
Derrick Henry's kind of like Babe Ruth. Like he has a home run chance.
Sure.
Yeah, he's right. That guy. That's always good.
It is. It is. I mean, and again, though, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and those are valid points. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you have Derrick Henry, you're playing him anyway.
Well,
So I just think Eckler's going to be the backup.
You know what we're doing?
We're
splitting hairs. Red ones. They're the thinnest kind.
Oh.
All right,
and again,
so who are you guys taking?
Back to the Nobles and Pinhead Erotica Hour. I'm going to take the Chargers, man.
Chargers.
I'm going with the Chargers also.
All right, clean sweep.
But to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here, pal. I'm the man.
Baddest dude in Waycross, Georgia, man. That is a bad man.
He is a bad man.
Whoa.
New Orleans at Chicago.
Oh, man, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a dogfight here,
I
man.
do too, man. I think I look for a low-scoring affair here.
I agree.
Between it's two of the best defenses in the whole game. I'm going with New Orleans on the road.
Okay.
Because I think their offense is just more dynamic. It just is. They've got
It
more
is.
weapons. It should be a really good watch, unless you crave points. If you're one of those people who can't watch a game that's low scoring, then you might not want to watch it. But I like it. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I don't look for a whole heck of a lot of fantasy stats out of most anybody. I mean, obviously you're going to start Mike Thomas. You're going to, these things are going to happen. But I'm going with New Orleans on the road. And I think it's going to be really close. Now, what is the line on this?
They're a 3-point favorite. The Saints
New Orleans,
are.
yeah? Okay. I don't know. I don't look at that, you guys. I don't bet at all. So, I mean, except for when I'm, like, I don't know, whenever I'm somewhere trying to hit the number fucking 4. All right, my 4 doesn't work like his 4 does.
No, your 4 work. I was looking up something for you there, buddy. I had to scream.
I'm hitting the hell out of 4. I mean, I'm doing what you told me.
Hit the hell out of 4, baby. It works.
He told me that All right. I love that.
Well, I don't want to sound like a dickhole, but I told you so.
Right, so I had to go and steal my man. And this is great. I actually have my own. You guys don't know what we're doing here, but I got my own keyboard here. And like it don't work when I need it to work and to be timely. That's why you get those delays. But we're trying to avoid that, you know. So now I've got it, and he's got me tuned up. And you know what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow is gonna be like. All right, that is fantastic.
Let's get back to football, man. We talking about the Saints at the Bears. I like the Saints on the road. I do think that there's some value fantasy wise here in this game. I think it's gonna be a low scoring affair, but I do think though
you start defenses.
I mean, you're going to – well, if you got both of these defenses, this isn't going to be a bad play. I don't think you're going to get, like, you know, if they were playing the Dolphins. I mean,
no,
I don't see them going crazy.
To me, that's about the only position that in this matchup that you would really take elevated over the norm.
Sure.
Over the average. I mean, obviously you're going to start certain guys, and obviously – but, you know – this for both of these teams, I think this will be a down scoring week.
Yeah, I mean, there are 4 players that I like in this game.
Talk about it.
Montgomery, 12 points. Allen Robinson, maybe, you know, 60 and a touchdown or maybe 100. You know, in a PPR, he might get you a little bit more than 11 points, but I think his ceiling is about right there. Again, not a horrible play. I like Mike Thomas here, man, obviously, man. I think he's got a really high ceiling in this game because I think he's he's going to create matchup issues with their secondary there, man, and I see his ceiling pretty high in this game.
I kind of do too, man.
Even though the game won't be high scoring, I see him having like a 22-point game this week, man.
Wow, you're really going after I love that. He's one of my starting receivers.
And I like AK-41, man. Again, I think his ceiling is high. You know, I would say you safely start him and see him about 14 points. His ceiling maxes out at 17 for me. If you're looking for quarterback, you want to look elsewhere.
Yeah, I would agree with that, man, for sure. I think that it's two of the better defenses in the league, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. Which is something really strange to talk about, man. Being a Panther fan, when we talk about the Saints, we don't generally talk about defense. You know, it's kind of odd.
We also don't generally talk about Teddy Bridgewater.
No, we really don't.
And they're about to get that kid back, man. That one that they usually plays for.
Number 9.
Really sling it.
Number 9. Yeah, I like that little fella, man.
University.
I seen that dude play, man, when I was in the Army, man, down in Texas. And they played against, I think it was Baylor, man. And he had a combined like 560 yards.
The beast.
And I was like, this guy is incredible, man. And he is not let down in the league, man. So, what we got?
Right.
What you got on this game, Stat?
I'm also going with the Saints on the road.
Okay,
Mitch is coming off of an injury, and I just think the Saints' defense is better. Overall, they're just a better team despite being on the road.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right, well.
Next game, Baltimore at Seattle.
I like this
Baltimore.
I like this matchup, man. It's a good matchup. It's Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson. That's 2 fun guys to watch. I like this game a bunch, actually. Wilson's at home, and he has a bit better playmakers around him, I would think. I'm going to take Seattle. But I think it's a really fine matchup, though. I think Tyler Lockett and Chris Carson, you know, should have decent outings.
Agreed.
Both of those guys seem really underrated to me.
Absolutely.
But also I think that Baltimore has success offensively. I think you start your usual Baltimore starters as well.
Absolutely.
But again, that should be a fun game to watch.
I agree, man. I agree with everything that you said, man. I'll take the Seahawks in this game, and they're 3.5-point favorite, man. I don't think that this thing's gonna go crazy, man. I don't, for whatever reason, I don't have the over/under up here, man. But I agree with everything that you said. I like Russell Wilson in this game. 28-point performance. Carson has been a number 10. He's the number 10 running back. It's not sexy what he does. You know what I mean?
And his name's Chris Carson.
Yeah, and again, you know, you're doomed to fail at the running back position if your name is not like.
We talk about this from time to time.
Right. I mean, you know, if you have a name like Aaron Jones, Chris Carson, you got like 3 good years in you, man.
Right.
That's it. Right. Oops, excuse me. But the guy I like the most in this game is Hollywood Brown. I think Hollywood Brown's going to have a good day, man. Again, for daily fantasy guys or
You want I like better than Hollywood?
what's that? That's right. While I'm telling the story at Hollywood, Pinhead is telling you to hit Vegas up, baby.
Yeah, you're probably better off to start Hollywood. But Pinhead's going to hit Vegas.
Hey, man, you can find Pinhead on our Facebook page, man, if you want to place a bet. I take 10%, and I think he gets like 4. Whatever. We'll work out the details later. Just because I threw that out there, man.
Well, damn, I got to get more than that. 2% or whatever I get goes to DJ Chart.
It's 48.5.
48.5. Thanks, Stat. So yeah, man. I actually like the over in this game.
I do too.
I like the over in this game. I think Lamar Jackson has a big game too, man. I mean, you can always count on that from that guy.
This kid might have the best rushing season ever for a quarterback when it's all said and done. They've really designed a bunch of real nice plays. I just saw one replay. I didn't get to watch that game last week, but I did see one replay. It was a design sweep for Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a tight end that was in motion that came across. And the tight end, the left tackle backed up, and the tight end tripped over him. Tripped over his feet. And just fell on his face. And right as Jackson started to take off, and Jackson still had enough speed to get the corner and get the first down of about 11 yards. And
right.
it's like the lead blocker fell down on his face, and you still got 11 yards. I mean, he just had the speed to get out there. They've designed some really nice plays for him, so I agree with you. I like him. That's going to be a fun game to watch. There's some fun games this week, man. I think the last two that we talked to, New Orleans, Chicago, and Baltimore and Seattle, I think those are good games. Who you got in this one, Stat?
I agree. Clean sweep, Seattle.
All right. Great.
1, 2, 3, 4. We've agreed on the last 4.
Well, I mean, listen, man.
You know, we don't know. We are, folks. This is unscripted.
I was just stating.
Well, it's scripted to a T. You know.
No, we don't. I'm just saying that we don't discuss.
I talk to you guys. Y'all don't know that we all talk, but I talk to everybody.
We don't discuss our picks, is what I'm saying. We're not picking to.
I know, man. I'm kidding.
Add, controversy. Is what I'm saying.
No doubt, man. I mean, but you got to go with who you like there, and I think the Bears are a championship caliber defensive team, but they've got to work out some things on offense, man. Particularly at quarterback, man. And then I don't understand why they're not running the ball more there. They've got two hell of running backs there with Tariq from Greensboro and then the young man Montgomery. It seems like between those two guys, man, there should be like 35 touches. So that's stupid that they're not getting it. But next year, my goal is to send Chicago my fantasy resume, even though I'm 1-5. Even though I'm 1-5, there's something that I can't control. I've been scored on more than anybody in my league by far. By far. Motherfuckers are blowing up on me. Dude, I had a guy a couple weeks ago have 3 players drop 40. Not 1, not 2, 3. We played 8. He had 120 out of 3 guys. And this ain't a crazy scoring league, 110 generally wins your games, man. And I'm dropping 110 every week, and I'm getting pounded, man. Man, last week I faced
again. We're talking football. We're not trying to get erotic. All the Nobles things are like, we got a man streaking. Hey, he's holding his balls, and I'm getting pounded. And he says that with emphasis and repeats. At least mine was hetero a bit, man. I don't know.
And the primetime game of the week.
We're having fun here.
All right.
Big game determines the number 1 in the East. Philly at Dallas.
All right, man. This actually should be a really good game. This should be a really good game, man. Because I believe both of these teams aren't as good as I thought that they should have been.
Who knows?
They aren't who we thought they are.
Who knows, really?
I mean, guys, I was really.
One thing I do know is an important game for them.
Well, it was an important game for both teams, obviously. But I like the Eagles in this game, man. The question is Carson or Dak. You know what I mean? You guys know how I feel about Carson. I thought he was going to have an MVP type season. I think he'll have the better performance in this game, but I don't know if. I don't care if he makes it to the Super Bowl as long as he helped my team get there. But I just don't think that he's the player that we thought we saw him to be 3 years ago, man. There's just something missing there. Something missing there, man.
I agree. I kind of get a similar feeling now that you brought that up, like to when I watched Todd Gurley.
Right.
It's that same kind of diminished shine.
Yeah, man. They've done something there, man.
That's not surprising.
No, it is though, man. I mean,
he had one, but he just had a flash. It was just a flash. Yes, the injury had something to do with it, but it was
too, though.
It was.
It was early. Like
he still got time though. I mean,
does.
it's super early.
He does, man. But in this league, man,
they don't give you that time.
Yeah, they don't give you, your coach, and I mean, the worst thing that you want is to have a revolving door or play musical chairs with the coaching staff. Have a different offensive coordinator every year.
There's no consistency
so
whatsoever.
Only way to keep those things intact is about win. Is about win. You have to win, right? So I like Zeke here, man. Not a great day for Zeke. 15, 16 points. I think if Cooper is still questionable, I like Gallup in this play because Cooper is more than likely going to be used as decoy. And this is a good week to play Jordan Howard if you got him. Alshon, don't expect anything crazy, maybe 13 points there. But when it's all said and done, I like the Eagles. Dallas they're a 3-point fave at home. So,
well, I can't read either of these teams at all. It's clear. So I'm going to go with my preseason pick, which is Philly. Why not?
Yeah.
And that's about what I got to add. You did a really good job of covering everybody's fantasy outlooks. You didn't say anything I disagreed with in the least. So,
and I'm sorry, they're a 3-point dog, not a favorite. Dallas.
Wow, at home.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the Cowboys at home. The Eagles have the best rushing defense when it comes to yards allowed. If they can hold Zeke down, they might win the game. But I think it's a push game.
I don't think Zeke can beat you though.
Well,
but it opens up a lot of other things. But I'm gonna go with the Cowboys at home. That is a determining factor for me.
Well, man,
I think if Cooper's out, it becomes a whole lot easier to focus on Zeke.
Yeah, and I think that's what you would. I mean, if you're the Eagles, you'd be like, all right, I'd rather Zeke beat me. I mean,
Well, they don't give up. They give up the least amount of yardage per game
throughout
the season thus far. So
they're going to. I guess they're going to focus on Zeke. Is what I meant to say here. I spoke incorrectly because I don't think Dak is the guy. If anybody should have held out this offseason, it was that guy. Because what he's done after week 3 has not boded well for his pocketbook.
No, man. He
and you guys
really should.
You guys know how I feel about that, man. Get your money, man. He should have held out.
I feel the same exact way. We are not at odds on that.
Yeah.
In the least. I do, however, respect guys who play the company line and beat them that way. That's always fun to me. Guys like
Larry
Cousins, guys like Flacco. Like, okay, I won't hold out. I'll sign. And then you're going to win the Super Bowl because of me, and you're going to make me insanely rich with a bunch of guaranteed money.
I like what Cousins did, man. He
he parlayed it. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, man. You can say fuck here.
Okay,
it's a safe place. It's a safe place. But he killed it, man. 2 years in a row with that franchise tag. Oh, and then
I think it was 3 years in a row.
Was it? And whatever he did, he played him and then poofed.
Yep.
Like, give me all your money.
Oh, shit.
Peace.
Yeah, word up.
Peace.
Right. So here we go. I guess we all on Philly? No, you got Dallas.
Yes, sir.
Good. Reg, we're going to pick up a game there.
There we go.
And the game of the week, Monday night.
Oh, my God. Who the hell cares?
How in the hell is that the Woo!
All right,
How is
I'm
that
ready
the
to go.
game of the week?
Because it's the Pats.
Is it the game of the week?
It's Monday night. Everybody's going to be watching Monday
I'm
night.
I'm going to tell you what, guys. When
Is that
Sam
what Hank
Darnold-
told you?
when Sam Darnold and the Jets beat the New England Patriots this week, then it will be the game of the week. It'll be the most talked about game of next week. And yes, I'm going to take the Jets at home.
Cool.
I'm going to take the Jets at home.
It's written down.
They are a much better team with Sam Darnold. He is a professional quarterback.
His backup was too.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. He masqueraded as one. All right. And that's it. I think that Robbie Anderson and Jamison Crowder both got big fantasy upgrades with the return of Darnold, and it played out last week. They both had good games, really good games. And so I think they become relevant again, which is good because I drafted Duke's Jamison Crowder, and I almost cut him at one point because it was just garbage,
You're talking about those guys against the Cowboys secondary, first of all, last week. So,
Oh my God! Who the hell?
Let the man
cares?
finish. Stat. We know you're gonna get a chance to defend all the shit that we talk about the Patriots, and uninterrupted, brother, uninterrupted. We're gonna let you rant for the game of the week. We're gonna give you 5 minutes to give us all the stats about the game of the week.
I'm just saying that the New York Jets,
because I don't have any notes.
The New York Jets are a proud franchise full of weird people.
JETS, Jets,
The biggest
Jets.
Jets fan I know is kind of a weirdo, But, but whatever. Every team has weirdo fans.
Right.
So I'm going to go with the Jets. Have that.
Okay, man. Well, hey, man, I'm going to disagree. But, I mean, hey, we got to do that at some point throughout the show, man. I like the Pats here on the road. I don't like them to cover. They are a 10-point favorite. I don't know if it'll get that crazy. The jury's out to me. I think the Patriots are a really good team. I mean, we've seen this year in, year out, right? It's hard to say that they're not. However, I will say I think that their defense is getting more credit for being a juggernaut than it deserves because of the teams that they play. Now, in their defense, that you beat the teams that are in front of you, and that's just what they've done. So I don't want to take that against them, but I think the Jets are going to be a little bit better than what they were anticipating seeing, and I think they would have been a lot better. This game would have been a lot better had Sam Darnold not missed those 4 games for the kissing disease. Anyway, with all that said and done, the only Jet I'm going to play is Le'Veon Bell.
Kissing disease.
That's the only, and then you're going to play all your usual suspects,
let me
man.
say, I was not by any means trying to insinuate to play Jets in fantasy.
No doubt.
No, fantasy. I was just making a prediction.
No, I got you. I got you. No, I mean,
I agree with what you're saying.
And I mean, that the game of the week. I'll tell you how much I thought of this game. Stat. I literally made no notes. I felt like I could wing that one.
It's the game of the week.
Out of all the games that we talked about today, I felt like I could wing that one.
It's the game of the week because of the Pats, and that's who I go for. But the secondary of the Pats is going to completely shut down Donald. So it's going to be based on
Who
your
are they
boy.
going to shut down?
They're going to shut him down.
Who's that?
Darnold. The Patriots secondary is going to shut that down.
Dude.
So they're going to dominate this game.
I think that the Duck has a big game. That's my nickname for him.
The Duck?
Yeah.
That's the backup's name. You can't
he's
call
Darnold Duck, dog. I think that's way better, man. He just stole the backup's name when he stole his job. See, yeah, I know that's the backup's name.
So the over-under is 43.5 points. Oh, man, and the Pats are a 10-point favorite, man. Stack, before we started, you said you want to start talking about the line. So let me ask you this question. How confident in your team are you against the lines here, man? Would you take the 10 points?
I would leave that game alone.
No, I'm just asking. Would you take? So you wouldn't take the 10 points?
Not on the road.
Okay. Let me ask you. What about the 43.5?
It'd be on the Pats. If I had to do it, I'd probably say under.
I would go under.
If it went over, it would be because they blew them out, and I don't think they're gonna blow them out like that on the road.
Absolutely, I agree, man. I agree. So I guess,
but they can dominate it without blowing them out.
Well, that's true. I mean, you can just make a team look bad all game long.
That's what they do to rookie quarterbacks.
And well, he's not a rookie. He's a second-year player.
I know, but he's still rookie-ish.
He's
not a veteran quarterback.
Not by definition.
Well, I feel you, but okay, let's be legit.
I'm a rookie quarterback.
You're gonna always be that.
Exactly. I keep my rookie status. He played 1 year, so he no longer can do that. You know what I mean? So it's safe to say that you like the Pats in this game in a big way, huh? Mm-hmm. So, man, dude, we've had a good week this week, man. Had a fun time today, man. And again, my fantasy woes are continuing, man. I can't seem to do right. I think part of the problem is, man, I'm giving out too much gold here. And for those that are listening, they're using it against me. Thanks, Adam. thanks power bomb. And as Pinhead drops his boom over there, yeah, he'll be holding his mic for the rest of the show. And, these guys careered it on me, man. But anyway, man, guys, we've come to that sad point in the evening, man, where we got to tell all our friends goodbye. Yeah, I know.
Good night.
Adios, amigos.
Yeah, man. So, hey, man, great job out of both of you. Hey, Pinhead, man, I forgot, man. What are you doing this weekend?
I don't know, man. I think I got a trip planned too. That's a fact, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm bringing that dark cloud toward that El Cortez and any other casino that I just curse with my presence.
I tell you what, though, man. I know you don't play a lot of craps, but you will be downtown, and if you do want to play a good crap game, there's a really good table, man, a really good starter table at the Grand downtown. It's all Fremont, man. It sits there by itself. You can go in there. And, craps is one of those games that if you don't know how to play, you don't want to learn on the fly because it's so expensive. But they have a $5 table there, man, and they draw some pretty big crowds, man, and have some fun on that table, man. So that's a really good table because I know we're talking about downtown Vegas. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man.
Yeah, check
I'm
them
down
out.
with it, man. We're gonna play some craps, man. I got a friend going. My friend Young West.
Young West in the house.
Young West, one of the luckier individuals I've ever met. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to play craps with him, and I'm just going to ape what he does. If he puts a chip there, I put a chip there.
Well, man, I tell you what, man, before you leave, man, not the country. Before you leave the country.
El Vegas. I'm going to El Vegas door.
Before you leave the state, I'm going to text you an app, man. It's a really good training app for craps.
Where, man, I got a long flight. I think in 5 hours I can learn down.
Yeah, dude. It's a very simple game, man. And once you learn some of the better bets to make, you know what I mean? And you're a smart guy. You'll be able to figure it out, man. So, hey, man, have fun
really
out, man. Have fun out there,
I'm really
man.
A dummy. I just play a smart guy on a podcast.
Hey, man, so that's not true either. Nothing that you said is true. Oh, man, well.
Half truths.
Well, man, we sincerely want to thank each and every one of you guys, man, for constantly downloading every week, man. And just also, man, please, if you could, please just share our podcast, man. We're trying to spread this thing out, man. Share the love, man. Tell your brother, tell your sister, your mother, your dad, your uncle, anybody who will listen, man. Just let them know that the Nobles and Pinhead might have something for him, man. Each and every week, man, we're going to try to continue to do better and better and better, man. You know where you can find us, man. We're all over social media. Find us on Facebook. Or Facebox is my esteemed colleague like to call it. On the Facebox. We're on IG. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. You can find us on Google. You can find us anywhere where you listen to your favorite podcast, man. We're all over, man.
Hey,
so,
man, I do want to say before we break out, can I say something?
Actually, I was about to ask you, so what you got for us?
Man, I got to say this. My badass rock and roll show that I'm holding at the Century Park Tavern on October 26th.
Hoot and holler.
Them hoot and hollers.
Hoot and holler.
I got Jesse Ray Carter opening up for them hoot and hollers. And, man, I'm going to tell you what. I got 8 tickets left. And that's it. Now, all you people who think, well, Justin keep pushing this, he must be
How many did you have last week left?
I don't remember.
It was like 12.
Yeah. Well, I ain't trying to sell them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't told nobody.
He ain't telling.
Dude, you know
it is pretty. It is a really.
How many cats I'm gonna turn away that night because they didn't get tickets? A bunch.
It's a really exclusive venue, man. Because it only you guys only sell a handful of tickets, man, for these shows. That's what makes them so. It's a real intimate. Vibe there, man. Like intimate.
They will play their instruments right in your face.
Right. Literally.
Yeah, quite literally right in your face.
And, hoot and holler.
Dude, the Hoot and Hollers are going to melt the walls in there. They are a badass band out of St. Louis, Missouri. I'm telling you.
Show me.
And, man, really.
When is this?
I'm stoked about it. It's next Saturday. Not this coming, but the next, the 26th.
That's right.
And so if there's 8 of you out there that want to go, show up. Because otherwise we got the windows blacked out and we're turning people away.
That's right.
All right, man.
All right, man. Stat, what you got for us next week, man?
Hey. I can't follow that.
He's got Yoo-Hoos, and he's going to have some Krispy Kremes for us next week.
Hey, man.
I'm down. That seems like a dandy treat.
Apple pie. Bring me some apple pie, man.
I got apple pie in my freezer. It's in a quart jar.
Do you really? See, that's why we should have did the show at your house tonight.
Lemonade. I got peach.
See, and this is why me and the Pinhead have gotten along for so many years. Moonshine keeps us together, baby. Man.
Viva North Carolina.
That's right, man. Well, man, hey, we want to give a special thanks out to the Tavern, man. We love to support them, man. Great people, great bartenders, great drinks, man. It's the home, I say, the home of the heavy pour, man. You never have to order a double if you drink on the rocks like I do. Some people like to get their double on. As Pinhead's nodding his head, like, I got to get my double. But anyway, man, come check them out, man. They had a Sunday ticket every Sunday, man. We're always there. There's always good food, good company, good people, man. Yeah, man, that's all we got, man. So, again, we want to thank everybody out, man, for Pinhead, Stat G. I'm your man, Reggie Nobles, saying peace.
Cheers.
Killer, Dipset, Check my stats, man. 78. I got to be the best living, man. You already know. Like Alex Trebek, you're in jeopardy. Yes, sir, we got the recipe. Give you a tech, but nope, not a referee. Like Wyclef, I'm a refugee. Broly wear cocky, don't play hockey, but have your mom in goalie gear. See the ice, grab the stick, hit the brake pads. Get a knee pass, penalty, face mask. Her face grab, the Don enters, the Don's in her. The Dawn, play the dugout like Don Zimmer. But hang with Steinbrenner just to get my cash turned. Call my car Jamal and get mash burn, crash burn. Rest in peace, Dale Earnhardt. My cousin died the same way, hit that turn hard. So I stacked from the gambling, drop cash in the Phantom. Play Dipset, yeah, the national anthem. Drop the 7 Series to the World Series. I'm so serious, I want the whole world. Man, I got to be the best living, that's a given. Check my stats, this the halftime show. What the mess with that? Killer Cam, what's your name, huh? Killer Cam, what's your name? Man, I got to be the best living, that's a given. Check my stats, this the halftime show. What the mess with that? Killer Cam, what's your name, huh? Killer Cam, what's your name? Man, you know how I line my backs with a dime of crack. They sling to the rack, through the legs, behind the back. Wanna play for my team, come sign the track. Treat you like a sprinter, I find the track. If you hype, I got hypermen, Spider-Man. In Minnesota, my Vikings sell Vicodins. I got clients connects, my alliance respect. I'm like New York football, Giants on Jets. Even Buffalo Bills, my deal's up in those mills. But I still cop keys, fuck with those krills. Yeah, up in those hills where they have chosen the field. The face dive in the snow, nose in they grill. I be with Don King, if you a fighter good. Fuck Tiger Woods, there's tigers in the hood. So come test the birdie, if you stretch the dirty. Give you a quarterback like test the birdie. I got to be the best living, that's a given. Check my stats, this the halftime show. What the mess with that? Killer Cam, what's your name, huh? Killer Cam, what's your name? Man, I got to be the best living, that's a given. Check my stats, this the halftime show. What the mess with that? Killer Cam, what's your name, huh? Killer Cam, what's your name? How?